Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another live stream. Yesterday, we're talking all things Sontaran in this spudtacular special. Once again, I'm joined with Luke.
Did you just say yesterday we're talking?
Oh, did I say yesterday? I don't know. I'm very tired
Wibbly
today.
wobbly, timey wimey.
You could be watching it. You could be watching in the past and future, whatever it is.
Yeah, if you're watching this tomorrow, like the day after the live stream, then it is yesterday for you.
There we go.
Yeah.
Recovered that.
I'm Luke. I'm joining Ben here with the Sontaran tier list.
There we go. Got there in the end.
Yeah.
So
our third monster now. We've done the Daleks, we've done the Cybermen. We got the big heavy hitters out of the way. Now we're on to the Sontarans, and when we get to the tier list, you'll see that there's a lot less stories for us to go through.
So it will be the tier list, little bit of a chat, I guess. Have a look at see if there's any questions, and then of course do a little roundup of the Big Finish news because we love some Big Finish. We do. So while we wait for a few more people to join, how have you been doing, Luke? What have you been doing? How have you been occupying yourselves?
Yeah, I've been pretty good actually. I've been rewatching Daredevil recently. Now that that's sort of switched over to Disney Plus, I've still got Netflix as well. It's not like I've been waiting for it to drop there so I can watch it. It's just sort of that thing of it's dropped here now. Spoiler, kind of, he's in Spider-Man No Way Home. I think that's generally well known now. So
I think it's well past that point now. I think people who want to see it have seen it.
Yeah. Recently, like the official Sony account posted the first 10 minutes of it, and he is the thumbnail, so it's not exactly a secret at this point. But yeah, so that just got me in the mood to begin the series from the start, really. So I've been diving into that, and I mean, I remember it was good, but I don't remember it being this good. I'm having a great time with it. How about you? What have you been up to?
Just university life. Just trying to get through to the Easter holidays. That's me at the minute. And try not to get COVID. But yeah, see how that goes.
The eternal struggle.
The eternal struggle of it all. Listening to Fourth Doctor Solo. That's been my main bit of Doctor Who, which we've both been loving because we've had little chats in between streams going, wasn't that great?
How far are you through now? I think you're on to Ravencliff Witch, aren't you?
I have just listened to part 1 of Ravencliff Witch. That is all I've done so far.
There we go.
Because I had Mel over, so I was like, I can't listen to Big Finish.
No.
Otherwise,
got videos to record.
Yeah, there's hopefully be another Mel reviews out very soon. She's picked another 3 items to give her opinion on, which is always fun to see like a non-fan talk about Doctor Who stuff. So yeah, that'll be coming up very soon, maybe tomorrow, because I think it would be 2 years since we did our Rose video, so it'd be a nice little celebration of that.
Oh wow.
Which is crazy to think. It had been 2 years since we all ventured into lockdown. So,
yeah, I think that was it yesterday or today that lockdown
I think it was
officially
yesterday.
announced. Yeah, officially began.
Yesterday or a couple of days ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's great. Like we lost a year, but yeah, it is mental. It's a mental one.
Yeah, and we're getting into summer now. Nearly, we're getting
a
nice weather back.
Yeah, which is lovely.
For a little, it might be going again, but we're enjoying the sunshine while it lasts.
I mean, we have one good weather week, and then that's our summer, and then it's back to rain.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a particularly great summer last year, was it? I think that was often rain.
Yeah. But that's just Britain.
It's very true. Yeah. Who is in the chat? I saw Stylish One there earlier. Hello, Stylish One.
Hello, Stylish One.
Oh, evening, Trevor Hicks. And
good evening.
Hi, who's books?
Hi, who books?
Well, the government had parties in all those lockdowns. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. No. They were cheese and wine. They were business. They were business things. We can't say they were parties.
They didn't know they were parties. Or at least certain members didn't know they were parties.
I shall wait for the report to make sure of whether I was at a party or not. Yeah.
Well, yes. Stylish One is dropping some hot takes already. He may not be able to make this stream. Sorry to hear that, Stylish One, but we will read off your hot takes when we get to the stories in question.
Yeah. I don't think this one's going to be as controversial as like a Dalek one. I don't think the Cyberman one we did was that controversial.
Yeah. We're getting better, aren't we?
Yeah, well, we've got to throw a few curveballs to keep you on your toes.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. We weren't expecting our Dalek tier list to be too controversial, but
no.
we're caught off guard a bit by it. Yeah.
But it's what it is, you know. That's just our opinion. That's what we enjoy in Doctor Who, you know.
Yeah. Stylish one asked recommendations from the Norton sale. They did that little Norton.
Take it away, as you're a Norton
I'd just say, both Tortured Sohos, really. Or, go for the first one. If you like it, go for the second.
I'm trying to think what other things I've listened to Norton in.
He was in God Among Us. Did you ever?
Yeah, I listened to that, and he's quite good in that.
Yeah, I think one of the Outbreak.
Outbreak's another one I've listened to him in. Yeah.
I'm just trying to find the page itself.
But you're more of a Tortured listener than me, so you have more of an idea.
Yeah. And even then, I'm not that big of a Tortured listener.
I guess Ghost Mission, that's like the first one. That's maybe quite a good one. And I guess if you like Andy, and Andy's become pretty much the face of Big Finish Tortured now at the minute. So, you know.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good one to go for. Yeah, I think that's it. As the introduction to his character as well, that's probably a good place to start.
That's a good one.
Yeah. What else is being said here? Oh, will you be watching Morbius, the new Sony Marvel film? Matt Smith will probably be wasting it. He said he was confused by the script and he understood Series 6 and Time of the Doctor. Yeah, I'll probably get around to watching it some point, like when it's on DVD or TV or whatever. But yeah, I'm not going to go to the cinema and watch it, to be honest. If you're even less fussed than me, aren't you?
The only Morbius I'll watch is Brain and Morbius. Like, I like Matt Smith, but yeah, I'm not into the Marvel films. I'm just not into that genre of stuff, so it's a pass for me.
Check out Last Night in Soho. None of Soho here, because that had Matt Smith in it, didn't it?
I've got like a Now TV box, and I wasn't going to see it in the cinema, but I could never get a day to see it. So I'm hopefully when I get like a bit of time, I can stick it on at night and watch it. But yeah, I've heard good things. I like the Edgar Wright film, so I'm excited to give it a go.
Yeah,
definitely do want to watch that.
Yeah, it's like horror, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, I think it's like a psychological horror. I think so. It'd be cool.
Yeah, I suppose time travel of a sort in there. So
yeah, I mean, yeah,
not too far off Doctor Who, but.
What else have we got going on in the chat?
Oh, Whose Book says, anyone going to Wales Comic Con next week? I'm there. I mean, we are not, but anyone in the chat who is going?
I mean, it's near me. It's near me, but I'm not going. Sadly, probably because I've met all the people, so I'm like, I don't need to go COVID, you know. I still feel a bit iffy on the convention circuit, you know. With it all. Yeah.
I think especially as you're finishing up uni, you probably want to get that out of the way first before
I risk anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm contemplating like doing time fractures in like the holiday, but I'm like, oh, do I want to risk it for that? But yeah, we shall see. But I hope you have a good time at Wales Comic Con, because it from the that was the last convention I went to before COVID, so and it was a good one. It's a good one.
It'd always be poetic if you did go, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. And just
maybe next year.
Meet Tennant and Catherine Tate again and be like, oh, isn't that great? I mean, they're great to meet. Especially for like our generation of fans who they were Doctor Who.
Yeah.
For us all, really. Rewatched The Greatest Show in the Galaxy and I loved it. One of my favourite stories from the 7th Doctor era.
I No, I rank it quite highly in 7th Doctor era as well.
When I first got it on DVD, I liked it, but then I tried rewatching it like 2 years ago, and I just couldn't get into it. So I feel like I wouldn't mind just marathoning the whole of the McCoy stuff.
It wouldn't even take that long, really.
No, it wouldn't actually. I was thinking, because we're doing the Pertwee era at the minute. Well, I say we're doing it. Back in September we recorded that.
Yeah.
But I was like, we could do McCoy.
Yeah, we probably could.
That'd be a nice one.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I do have all the McCoy era as well. So
yeah, maybe that's a nice little project.
Yeah,
be a nice one to do. I mean, I'm itching to do Battlefield because I just love Battlefield. I think I prefer.
I suppose that'd be fitting as well with Bambera coming up.
Maybe we can do that in June. Do like a little unit special. I don't know, do something like that.
Yeah, there's lots of options out there.
Add it to the schedule. Trevor Hicks, looking forward to your Sontaran experiment placing as I watched it being made. Very exciting. I think it's safe to say that we both like it.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it.
Anyone looking forward to Legend of the Sea Devils next month? I'm excited for their return. Yes, very excited to see what they do with the Sea Boys. I love me some Sea Devils.
Yeah. I think hopefully something fun standalone before the centenary.
I think there will be some sort of link to the centenary, whether it be the Master or something. I feel like there's got to be something along that lines.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Whose book says I really want to do Time Fracture, but it's too expensive to travel to London at the moment with everything that's going on. Yeah,
that's fair enough.
WhoTube says I've only ever seen the modern Who Sontaran stories. Does that include the Sarah Jane Adventures Sontaran stories? Because they will be on this list.
Oh, a little curveball there for us all.
Yeah. We've got to pad it out somehow.
Oh yeah. We're not going to do like the cameos like Time of the Doctor and just go, it's a Sontaran story.
Thank you for joining us, by the way, YouTube.
Thank you.
Stylish One asks, hopes for the next 10th Doctor box set. Also, what do you think it will realistically be? I'd want a Wilf box set, but realistically, it'll not be that.
I think I did a tweet back in like 2016 saying I'd love a 10th Doctor and Wilf box set.
Yeah.
And I think there's a possibility maybe get 2 stories, but I think Martha and a Cyberman story. I don't know why. I just want that. I know we got it in like the books in like, is it Made in Steel?
Yeah, Made of
Steel. And I think somebody did like a little fan edit of like using existing TV clips to make like a little next time trailer for it. And I was like, I really want to have a 10th Doctor Cyberman story with Martha.
I think it's weird at the moment how we're getting a lot of Eccleston box sets that are just Eccleston box sets. Like that is the main selling point. Like there's no gimmick. Whereas 10th Doctor, he's got Dalek Universe, he's got Classic Companions. So I'd quite like for the next one to just be more standard 10th Doctor stories.
Would you want like solo 10 or an actual companion, or?
Yeah, it depends on the availability, really. Like, I think I'd love more 10 with any of its companions, really. I mean, Martha, like we say, definitely top of the list because she hasn't had one yet. But with Billy recording more of the Dimension canon, maybe get her in the Tenant or something, or Catherine Tate. I'm down for any of them. Or solo Tenant would be great too, really, because that's what Eccleston is at the moment. So I think just more stories, really, because then when you have sets like that, it helps to make the special sets feel more special.
Yeah. It's strange, really, but like you say, Tennant seems to get like the gimmicky stuff when, quite frankly, he's a Doctor what can just sell on his own. He doesn't need like a little extra little push of going, here's a Dalek. But yeah, it is crazy that they do that. But I'm thankful that we have it, a Dalek universe.
I wonder if maybe it's more for Tennant than anything else, like just to tempt him into his shed to record, not into the studio, but just to say, we're doing this special thing. And since he is a fan, he might be more down for that than the standard stuff.
I mean, it does make me wish that we actually continue doing like the novel adaptations, because I'd love to see like Stinger the Zygons be adapted.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
And obviously, he's a big fan of the Zygons, so I think that'd be a good one. And just Tan and Martha, underrated like duo.
Yeah. Whose book says, with RTD returning, are you hoping for more spin-off shows, like an Ace spin-off and a Unit spin-off? Also, do you believe in the Ace rumors in the centenary, and what would your reaction be if she turns up?
Ooh, I think with spin-offs, I think people are saying that Doctor Who needs like a cinematic universe like Marvel one. Technically, they were doing Marvel with like Stolen Earth Journey's End.
Yeah.
So it was kind of ahead of that wave of films, really. And I think maybe because we're into Big Finish, I don't know if I'm talking for you here, but just me. I feel like because we have already those spin-offs in audio, I don't feel that fussed about having them on TV.
I'd like them on TV, to be honest, but like not the same ones. I think depending on what Russell does, because I think he's great at making original characters as well. Like Torchwood's, that's something they spawned entirely out of the RTD era. Sarah Jane Adventures, that is taking something from Classic Who and running with it as its own show. But yeah, I feel like based on Russell's comments, I feel like he will want to push that a bit more. Maybe after getting started with Doctor Who itself, we could see a couple of spin-offs. And I think as well, the production house or whatever it's called, it's like Whoniverse 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like got its own lot in a way. And so people are speculating from that it won't just be Doctor Who they're producing, but a couple of spin-offs as well. I don't think we'll get anything near the level of Marvel, and I'm not sure I'd want that, to be fair. So I think then as well, you risk Doctor Who not seeming like the flagship of it if you've got so much other stuff around. But I think like we had back in the day with 2, maybe 3 at a push spin-offs, I think that can help to fill the year out, can't it? Like Doctor Who in the spring, something else around October, and then something maybe New Year's or something, just to stretch out a little bit more would be nice.
I think it's strange because I was speaking to somebody at uni, and like they've never seen Doctor Who, but they've watched Sarah Jane Adventures, and I just find that baffling that people have had like the spin-offs, but not the actual like mother show itself.
Yeah.
But I think spin-offs are the way just to keep the momentum of the show alive in the public consciousness. I don't know if it'll be like a BBC iPlayer exclusive or whether it'll be on its own little streaming. I don't know how they work it.
Yeah. I imagine it, because I'm not sure how much stuff is BBC iPlayer exclusive these days. I think quite a bit of stuff they'll do the whole drop on iPlayer, won't they? But then still air it week to week.
I mean, BBC Three's come back, so maybe we could get that. Yeah. And I'd like a little McGann series.
Yeah, maybe just like more mini series every now and then for different things.
A bit like Kenobi in a way, like it's a limited series. That's it. That's your run.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I suppose it's just down to what characters we get in the series itself, who we think has the potential to spin off into their own world. I think a Master spin off would be very good. I think both of us would love Sacha Dhawan to have his own series.
Sacha, yeah. I think as well, I'm more interested to see what original characters can spawn a spin off, I think. Because Ace is the obvious one, and I think we probably will get an Ace spin off.
Yeah. I mean, should we answer the centenary question as well? Do you think?
I mean, I've heard rumblings of other stuff is happening in it. I don't know how true it is, but it seems to be from like the stuff what's leaked before, and it seems to be credible. Yeah. But I think the Ace stuff is probably true.
Yeah, I think it's a shame that she couldn't get more of a focused story. Maybe she was originally planned to be in the early version of Series 13 before that all changed and got reshuffled into Flux. And so she sort of got pushed into Centenary because they couldn't find a way to work her into the main Flux narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But certainly with how Flux handled things like nostalgia and everything, I mean, we had the whole unit origin story almost.
Yeah.
I feel like Ace isn't beyond the realms of possibility at this point. It doesn't feel far-fetched to assume that she could be in there. And I believe she's one of Chibnall's favourite companions, isn't she?
Yeah, because like, I think on BritBox it's like the showrunner's favourites, and I swear like a good portion of those is like 7th Doctor ones. So obviously the Colin stuff.
I mean, he did kind of do the whole Cartmel master plan, didn't he? So...
Yeah, well, yeah. So you can see the little inspiration throughout the era to that, and the wink and nod to it. So you can see why.
Yeah, I mean, because she almost came back in Sarah Jane as well, wasn't she? The plan was to have her in Series 6, but that never worked out for obvious reasons.
I think that's my thing with like Ace or Joe taking over. It feels like you are replacing the OG, which is Sarah Jane, and it just feels like how do you work that format to be different enough for it to have its own identity? I think that's one of my big things with it, you know, because I don't want it to be like a rehash of it's a Sarah Jane Adventures, but Ace is leading it now, or Joe.
Yeah, that's what. But at the same time, I wouldn't want an adult Ace spin-off or anything like that.
Oh,
that wouldn't be the way to differentiate. Like, can you just do more spin-offs on the same level as Doctor Who is? Does it have to be a children's spin-off or an adult spin-off? Can we just have a whole range of spin-offs on the same level as Doctor Who itself? Like, because that's what all the Marvel spin-offs are, really. It's all...
And Disney Plus, really.
Yeah. Like, all the... Yeah. And Star Wars as well. Like, if you watch one part of Star Wars, you can watch it all within reason. Certainly there's some shows, like animated, that skew more towards children, but it's not like they go too adult in the live action stuff.
Yeah, they never really push it. So yeah, I agree that it should have like the same tonal thing. Because I think Russell said when he brought back the show that if you give kids good stuff, they'll always demand good stuff. I think if you teach them what good drama is, then they'll always have like that's what a good bit of drama is, you know. So I think that's the thing with kids TV now. It's very much spoon fed. It's not like how we had it, I guess, you know.
I haven't really checked it. I mean, Dodger's meant to be quite good, isn't it?
I've not seen it. I've only seen that one clip of Eccleston going about the monarch. That's it.
The meme-worthy clip. I've seen a few clips. That's been popping up on like my YouTube ads recently. It's tempting me to watch it.
Just for a bit of Eccleston.
Yeah. Yeah, he certainly is the face of all the ads I've been getting. Has anyone in the chat seen that? The Dodger Show with Christopher Eccleston? Let us know if it's worth checking out.
Yeah, if it's worth your time.
I don't have to watch the spin-offs to make sense of the main show. Yes, agreed, Trevor Hicks. That
I agree with that.
Be the case. Actually, thinking about it, the only spin-off that is like meant to be on the same level as Doctor Who itself was K9 and Company. That wasn't marketed as adults or a children's spin-off. Although I will say, Sarah Jane Adventures, despite being marketed as a children's spin-off, has the same universal appeal that Doctor Who itself does.
I think it covers more darker stuff than Torture in certain parts of it. And I think Sarah Jane, right from the off, had a balance. It knew what tone it wanted, and it could teeter with that, you know.
Yeah, Torchwood was very much more trying to find itself for a long while. Sarah Jane really hit the ground running in that respect.
I'm sure we'll talk more about Sarah Jane in a minute.
Yeah, it's fitting lead-in, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really. Should we move on to the main bit of this stream for tier list itself?
Let's get into the main event.
Let's get into that, and then we'll do the big finish news. So once again, Luke has created this wonderful tier list. So do you want to do your classy intro?
Yeah, here we go. We have at the top Sontaran, of course. Below that, the next tier down is I find myself excited. Referencing the fan favorite, or at least one of our favorite scenes from Flux, the introduction to Sontarans. We were loving that. If you watch our What the Flux reaction to it, we are full on in love with that scene there. And
We
I don't
love
think
a
that
bit of
love
tongue.
has faded. Yeah. What a way to put it.
Well, yeah.
And then a reference to Poison Sky down below is the entertainment of idiots is entertainment nonetheless. Basically saying it may not be the best story, but it's entertaining. And then referencing Sontaran experiment, we have why did you make that disagreeable story? And then finally, we are back around to the scene from Halloween Apocalypse with really disgusting. Halloween Apocalypse itself is not on this tier list. It's not quite a Sontaran story. But that scene alone had 2 great moments that have made it onto this tier list. So what can we say?
I mean,
this one, it was a bit more difficult with deciding what counts and what doesn't. Like a lot of the Dalek and Cyberman one is clear cut, but here with Sontarans, there is a bit more grey area. Like you've got Strax stories. There's quite a few of them, but I wouldn't really call them Sontaran stories.
no.
Flux, I would say, is technically one long story, but it's not one long Sontaran story because you've got these individual episodes which are a whole episode in their own right, but also part of a larger one. So yeah, that's why War of the Sontarans and Vanquishers have ended up here, separate entities from Flux.
Yeah.
And then Sontaran Adventures there as well, like we say.
Yeah. The main bad series too, maybe, I'd say.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, Enemy of the Bane, actually, I wasn't sure whether that really counts as a Sontaran story. Because while Karg is in there, he's only in part 2. And he is more of the henchman, really, for a lot of it. So the main threat is more Mrs. Wormwood and the Bane. But I thought since we're throwing in Last Sontaran, and this very much carries on, it's the same Sontaran Karg, it's his story carried on, I thought it would be fitting to include that as well.
I mean, we haven't included any of like the real-time stuff like Mind Game and all that and Shakedown, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we're only trying to stick to well nailed down official stuff.
Yeah.
Like not stuff that's maybe a bit more of a limbo there.
Yeah, a bit more.
Have you seen any of that?
I got sent Mind Game.
Ah, yeah.
Back in when it came out on DVD, and it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah. So should we jump in with a bit of a spoiler for our season 11 review here?
Yeah.
Of the Pertwee era tier list, but we've got Time Warrior first up.
I mean, I guess since they've taken their time out of their day to join us on this Friday evening or whenever you're watching, before the season 11 things drops, and you can have a little sneak peek. You deserve it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a while since we recorded that, so we might have some different things, some different opinions to say on this one.
I mean, you watched it recently, so do you want to take it away?
I mean, brilliant introduction for Sarah Jane Smith. First off, this really is. You can see why this character has gone all the places she has just from this first story alone. Following that reporter's instinct, sneaking into what's this research establishment, then sneaking into the TARDIS after that being a stowaway on board.
You sort of miss one of the crucial moments for a companion, don't you?
Yeah, the reaction to the inside of the TARDIS.
Yeah.
But it's like really well-written character here, and then she goes on to like lead a commando raid of these knights to get the Doctor out of Irongrond's castle and such. Pertwee has the joke of, are you on visiting terms with all the local nobility? Like she's on her own for a lot of her first story. She doesn't spend too much of it with the Third Doctor in the first.
Well, she's very much against the Doctor, isn't she?
Yeah, it's a very different introduction for a companion, and so yeah, she really does stand on her own 2 feet first before becoming this companion. And often that's not the case. Like, I mean, we love all the classic companions mostly, but I don't think any of them quite are as well established in their first story as Sarah is here. She's very independent, very strong, and definitely the highlight watching this.
I mean, sadly, that gets lost when you get to season 12 because I think Sarah becomes a much more watered down character.
I mean, even when you get to Death to the Daleks, you lose a bit of that.
If anything, I find Sarah this might be a bit of a hot take, but I kind of find Sarah a bit irritable in this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I
She's
feel
too
like
full on for you.
there's a bit. I just feel like she's not that likable in the Time Warrior.
Oh.
Because I'm such a John fan, I'm like, why would you not trust this man? But I don't think the Time Warrior cements Sarah what we all know and love. I think that she's there, but she's not quite the Sarah what we fall in love with. Yeah, she's good. She's good in it, especially with confronting Lynx and all that. Lynx, I think we've got to talk about Lynx. Best Sontaran look.
Very probably.
Say. Django Lynx. I think he was named in Lords of the Storm. Virgin Misadventure. And great. Kevin Lindsay is just the ultimate Sontaran, isn't he? He's the ultimate one.
Yeah, and I think very different performances as well in the two stories.
Yeah, Phil made 3 different performances, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. You do get a little bit of the Grand Marshal, isn't it? That's the one.
Yeah, the Grand Marshal. Yeah. But
nice. Here he's got like this bromance of sorts with
Irongron.
Irongron's
a great character as well.
Yeah. It's funny seeing those two get along better than the Doctor and Sarah do for a lot of this.
Yeah.
But then they're very much at each other's throats as it goes along. They can't live with each other, but they can't live without each other. That's, I think it's funny thinking they do almost have this respect for each other, don't they? Yeah. Like when Lynx goes, he's not quite. I think a lot of other Sontarans would have just killed everyone in cold blood before heading off. But he's like, I'll give you a chance, go off, capture some other castle, use my weapons. He's very much just there as this impartial onlooker for the most part. Just sort of like enjoying the chaos he's causing.
Well, especially when you get them trying to raid, is it Duke of the Earl of Sussex, is it?
Yeah, that's it. Or Wessex, I think it is.
Wessex. When you sort of get him sort of examining the military tactics, which I think is more explored in the Sontaran experiment with the humans. But I like that whole sequence because you get the magician of the Third Doctor with like the little stink bombs. I like that. It nice bit of lightness within the story. I think the concept as well, this alien giving these weapons, I think that's a real nice little. It's just a really nice little 4-parter, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just very fun medieval story, really, isn't it? It's taking like all those classic children's games you play about
Robot
these knights and everything, and just running with it, really. And again, another strong female character, the what's it? The Duchess, is it? I can't.
Yeah, I know you mean Dot Cotton.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I have to look up the.
Is it Lady Sussex? Probably.
Lady Eleanor.
Lady Eleanor.
Yeah. Remember.
There you go.
Yeah, Edward of Wessex and Lady Eleanor. That's who they are. And then obviously Hal the Archer, played by the recently passed Jeremy Bulloch. I say recently, actually. It might have been a while now, actually. I think within the last year, I'm pretty sure.
This nice sort of nod to Robin Hood, like even in the costume and like the little rescuing of the robot. Like part 1's cliffhanger, I love. I think it's one of the best cliffhangers because it's like a quintessential Doctor Who cliffhanger.
Yeah, and it's not like one that's easily gotten out of. It's not a character in danger. Suddenly they're not in danger. It's a reveal cliffhanger, isn't it? You get the look under the helmet. I think, that's very well done. The turn around as well, like you get it from behind, don't you? And then the tongue. Great stuff.
It just has the hallmarks of Robert Holmes. It's got some nice little double acts. You've got Iron Gron and Lynx, and then Iron Gron and Blood Axe. I love Blood Axe. What a name! It is great. The music,
all the sucking up he does as well. Yours is indeed a towering intelligence.
It's just pure Bob Holmes, and it's wonderful. Wonderful.
I mean, some iffy visuals, I'd say, in the special effects department.
But then you've got the option of updated effects.
Yeah, but you didn't in 1973.
But you have Barry Letter's vision of actually blowing up the castle.
Yeah, true. But even I'm not a huge fan of those ones. But mainly just the castle blowing up. I think all the other new effects are fine.
I don't
it's
think
very CGI. It's weightless.
Mm-hmm.
The way the bricks fly about and stuff. It's not quite. I wish we would have got what Barry Letts originally wanted, where it would have been a model blown up in the same way that the Demons Church blew up. Yeah.
Wonder if we've got any angry letters about that blowing up historic building.
I mean, it's the same cliff face that blew up in Hand of Fear, isn't it?
Is it? Okay.
I swear it's. Yeah, I swear that visual's the same.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
It would be fitting for Sarah's first and last story.
Maybe that's why they did it. Well, what stock footage we got? Oh, that one.
Very nice.
Professor Rubish, I love.
He's quite a good part.
He's a charming chap.
Yeah. Get a little bit of Brigadier in there as well at the start.
Yeah,
never say no to a little bit of that.
No, you can never say no to the brig.
Yeah. I think it's just fun having the Third Doctor in a historical setting as well, because this is the only time you really get that.
You kind of get it in Carnival, but it doesn't really count.
No. This is full-on period piece, isn't it, really? But done in a much more up-to-date way than what we had with the pure historicals of the 60s.
It's kind of like a template of what you get in the new series now.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, very well designed sets. They certainly do evoke that feel properly. And it's not like the differences between Edward of Wessex's castle and Irongron's castle. You could tell one's a lot more grimier and lived in by these outlaws than the other.
Yeah.
It's a very well-built world, well-built characters. Yeah, just great stuff overall. First name drop of Gallifrey as well.
Yeah, that's
got a lot of. Yeah, there's a lot of big Doctor Who moments in this, isn't there? Like first Sarah Jane, first name drop of Gallifrey, first Sontaran story. Yeah, it's all there.
It's one of those stories you have to watch, I think.
Yeah, it's a must-see. It's a Sontar half for me.
Oh, there's no question with this one. I think this is probably the easiest one to put on the list, I think. I really enjoyed it. Really good one.
Yeah.
Sontaran Experiment.
Yeah. The only two-parter of the 70s. A rare two-parter of Classic Who, really, isn't it?
And I think that it works wonderfully.
Yeah, it doesn't overstay its welcome at all.
This was the first Sontaran story I ever watched. So
you get them at their most brutal.
Yeah. Really. I think the experiment on the human, like it's such an interesting one. Just how you've got these sort of, is it like South African like astronauts or whatever?
Yeah, the Galset colonists, isn't it?
Yeah. And just see how they're sort of put through their paces. Like, granted, the robot's a little bit ridiculous, but I love it. Yeah.
I think they try with the robot. It doesn't look too bad. Yeah, it's impressive for the time.
Oh yeah.
I think it's almost more ridiculous when you see poor Kevin Lindsay very much stumbling along the rocks in the costume. Like he's trying his best not to fall flat on his face in some of those shots.
I mean, Tom definitely fell flat on his face. He broke his collarbone.
You even hear the crunch when it happens. Poor guy. Yeah, that does sort of affect the climax, doesn't it? You can, especially when you know that, you can tell they are filming around it. But
I mean, it's no
enough.
It's no Monster Paladin where you literally do see Terry Walsh dub, one of Pertwee's lines. So I don't think it's that bad. But I think as a kid you don't notice it, but now with old eyes and the sad gitterness in us, you do notice it.
Yeah. I think the relationship between Fourth Doctor, Sarah, and Harry is near its best in this.
Yeah, especially at the start with like the transmat.
Yeah. Well, only Harry could fall down a whacking great subsidence like that. Lines like that. It's just
the sonic screwdriver as well. Sarah handing, have you got my screwdriver? No, of course I've got my screwdriver. Like just little moments like that. It's just why that TARDIS team's so great.
Yeah.
And
I think there's a lot of running about from place to place and sort of chasing each other's tails. But because it's only 2 parts long, it never feels like that's overstaying its welcome.
No, definitely not. And I think it feels like a nice little continuation from the Time Warrior because you have Sarah going links. Granted, that went over me when I first saw it, but it feels like a lovely way of linking. Oh, this is a clone species. That's why, even though they look completely different in terms of Sontaran, but you can get away Sarah thought it,
Especially, it's the same voice,
yeah,
same actor. Obviously,
that is true.
Yeah, I mean, I get to reuse the ship from Time Warrior as well. That iconic golf ball look.
It is great. I do like the design of that.
Yeah. I think there's like about 3 times in the story you see Steyer step out and just go, upon noticing something. Right.
Yeah, it's a good. I think Dartmoor is a great place to film it. Really, I think that it definitely has that sort of revived Earth look, doesn't it? After the solar flares, and it's good.
Yeah, it's just like it's that bleak beauty, isn't it? Really, it really does suit it. And I love the idea that they are in London, even.
Yeah, like Trafalgar Square's that way.
Yeah. And it's like it could be the central line when he's down. Like you're never sure how much of it is a joke and how much of it is actually real, or could it actually be Dartmoor?
Yeah, it is. It is good.
Yeah, it works very well. I mean, I'd say either Sontaran or I find myself excited.
Do you know? I'll go Sontar. Sontaran.
Yeah,
I was going to go find myself excited, but you know what? I think that it's an underrated one, and I think it needs reappraising by people.
It's just such an easy one to stick on and enjoy as well.
It's one of the easiest classics to watch, I think.
It also just works very well within season 12 as a whole. It's that glue between Ark in Space and Genesis of the Daleks.
I think that's its problem.
Heavy hitters. Yeah, that's really why it doesn't get as much praise as it deserves. But I think when you do watch it in order, you do get that appreciation of it with them just transmatting down, then transmatting away at the end. It's a very different type of story in that respect. It's not your usual TARDIS lands. They don't know where they are. They land here with a purpose to fix the that transmat.
Yeah, and Rubber Duck Sarah. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. Can't really go too far wrong with it. Unlike the next story we're about to talk about, which is a bit of a weird one. Admittedly, one I've not checked out in a while, but for good reason, I would say.
I feel like we and you might disagree on this.
You quite like this one then?
I wouldn't say like. I think it's probably my favorite season 15, but season 15 of Doctor Who's not one season. It's my least favorite Tom season. I think Invasion of Time and Image of Fendal are like my 2 go-tos for that season, but I think I have a lot. It's interesting to see Tom play the baddie.
Like I think he's doing that quite well.
He does very well. One grows tired of Jelly Baby's Barista.
Ironically enough, I'd say the first 4 parts are better than the last 2 when the Sontarans actually appear.
Well, you've got the Cockney Sontaran of Store.
Yeah. You've got the whole running around at the TARDIS. You have to chase through the swimming pool and the embarrassing trip over the Sun Lounge.
Yeah, I mean, granted, the TARDIS does look like it's, your local GP, but yeah, it falls into the trappings of Doctor Who's just running up and down corridors. I think this is probably where that phrase come from in a way.
You can tell it was done in a hurry, especially a 6-parter like this. I think sometimes with different stories, Horror Fang Rock from this very season, I know you're not as big a fan of it, but general fan perception is quite fond of it. And Deadly Assassin itself, I think. Talons of Wing Chang, definitely. That was one that was written in a bit of a hurry because another script fell through. And so I feel like fans often see these last-minute rush jobs as masterpieces. City of Death, that's one that was done really last minute. And so we often forget the fact that those are the exceptions to the rules. You shouldn't really be rushing these things last minute. And sometimes you get lightning in a bottle, but a lot of the times you get a story like this instead.
What do you think of Leela's exit?
It's terrible, really.
Okay.
It is very much just holding someone's hand at the last minute and Doctor being like, oh, she's off.
But then you get a nice little moment, I miss you too, Savage.
Yeah, that's true.
But
then you get that nice grin at the end when he's got K9 Mark II.
One of the most iconic gifs on Twitter.
Yeah.
The Vardens, bit of tinfoil, but I think Big Finish have redeemed them to be a bit more special. But the cliffhanger reveal with Sontarans is great.
Yeah. Gallifrey, I think it's also the fact that this is meant to be a follow-up to Deadly Assassin. Yeah. I like the idea of Doctor coming back to claim the presidency. But yeah, just like when you have Deadly Assassin, especially the production values on Deadly Assassin, like you see how well the atmosphere, the mist, it's all there. And then this is lighting, isn't it? Yeah. It's very gothic. And then this is very overly lit. You have random weird, colourful seats just lying around,
it's very 70s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like inflatable, yeah.
I mean, costumes are still great in this. They don't feel like there's too different there.
I feel like Douglas Adams is really playing with the rod of Rassilon. Here's the slipper of Rassilon. Was
Douglas Adams involved in this one?
I swear he wrote this. Is it David Agnew? Isn't that his pseudonym?
That was just like a general BBC pseudonym.
Okay, was it?
It's Anthony Reid and Graham Williams, I think.
Oh, was it Graham Williams? I swear Dougie Adams had a hand in it.
No, he didn't come a lot until Pirate Planet, and then
it feels very Dougie Adams without it being Dougie Adams. Then for me,
I'd say the Sontaran design itself is pretty nice.
The Trooper design's great.
Yeah, so once the helmet comes off, and it's almost like the panda eyes, isn't it? There's too much eyeshadow there. That's a bit. That's not great, but yeah, the costume other than that is great. The helmet, such.
See, it looks like a concrete helmet.
It does follow up nicely on the line from Time Warrior, actually, where the Third Doctor says, I'd advise you not to put that knowledge to the test when Lynx is talking about Gallifrey. I think, he calls it a high-tech society, but lacking the morale to withstand an assault.
I mean, the Sontarans have done well. They got on Gallifrey.
I mean, it's weird when you think of this in the context of what we have now with the Time War and such, isn't it?
Yeah, but they actually did it.
The fact that Sontarans almost took over Gallifrey, and then when the Daleks try, it ends in a war that almost destroys the entire universe.
I think that's what Chibnall really celebrated. I know we're jumping way many stories ahead, but Sontarans we've said is like a B monster, isn't it? They're not like the A tier monster. I think Chibnall's brought that back, going, well, in the Vanquishers, they tried to wipe out the A monsters, and I think Invasion of Time sort of celebrates the B-ness of there.
Yeah, like them invading Gallifrey is more just like, it's not to give them a tactical advantage over the Routans, is it? It is literally just, we want to look good to the rest of the universe.
We're just going to claim it, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, can't say I'm a big fan of this story. Where would you want to put it? If I had no hand in this, where would you put it?
I feel like I've watched it so many times with this one, because it just seems to be like one what my dad naturally goes, oh, we'll watch this one. Because it's got one of the greatest Leela moments of her just throwing a knife in the probic vent. That's like a real good Leela moment. I'd say it's the entertainment of idiots.
Yeah, I'll allow that.
You'll allow it, okay?
Yeah.
I don't think I can put it any higher.
I
think it's a mid tier one for me. Like, it's not bad. It's not the worst. It's not the best. I think there are worse stories to come.
Yeah, but for now, the Two Doctors. Is this the worst story we're talking about? Oh dear. I'm quite like this one, although it is a bit of a mess narrative wise. Like, you got a random trip into town at the start of part 3.
I don't know if it's part 3 or part 2 where I just think is sheer padding. And I think that's one of my problems with season 22, the 45-minute format. Just for the most part, just doesn't work for me. And I think this is one of the worst offenders for it.
Yeah. I feel like it's mainly just Second Doctor fan and me loving having Second Doctor and Jamie back interacting with the Sixth Doctor. I'd say it's one of, if not my favourite Sixth Doctor story.
Okay.
Yeah. Although that's not really saying too much because a lot of them aren't that great. Yeah, I'd certainly rank this one quite highly amongst those.
I mean, I think this story, it spawns so much spin-off material with like Sixth Doctor and Jamie, because they are Sixth Doctor, Jamie and Perry are such a good TARDIS team.
Yeah, like they're together for a lot of the story, aren't they?
And they work rather well.
The music in this is brilliant.
Sontaran theme's ingrained in my mind. Yeah. It's sort of like the definitive Sontaran theme, I feel.
I mean, it even made its way onto the Blu-ray trailer for season 22, didn't it?
I can't remember. I've not watched it in a long time.
Yeah,
so I was hoping we'd have the season 22 Blu-ray to celebrate,
Yeah, but still no word on when that's coming out.
Still no word on that. But for now, here we are.
Yeah, I think that'll also be great getting to watch this in better quality, because it is one of those early DVDs and it is rough.
Yeah.
Some of the credits are really blurry. You struggle to read the names.
I think when they sort of zoom into like the villa, you can't tell if it's like Cassini or a Sontaran. I think the violence in this story probably goes a little bit too far. I think this is more of a worse offender than the acid bath, personally. Especially Shock Eye. You're just desserts. Like, why was that a thing of having a witty remark after like something grim's happened? Like the acid bath one, I can kind of forgive me if I don't join you, but I just think after you've basically suffocated, Shock Eye. I mean, granted, Shock Eye is not very much of a nice character because he's tried chopping Jamie and Perry up, but
but at the same time, it's not like this is out of character for Doctor Who in general. I feel like it's more just the fact that we see the Doctor do it firsthand, and it is more of it's not like this sci-fi way of going, is it? Like, it's cyanide poisoning, so it's quite down to earth, I guess, in that sense. And so that's what makes it all the more brutal and weird in our eyes. But it's not like the Doctor hasn't killed and then joked about it before. Not exactly a.
I think because there's a difference with it, because with a laser gun, it's not. I think it's like the rule of like Big Finish, that if you hear like an actual gunshot, then there's blood and all that. But if you use like a laser gun, there's something a bit more kiddie friendly with it. Whereas you actually see the Doctor literally grappling and see Shockeye take his last breath. There's something a little bit. I think it oversteps the mark a little bit for me.
Yeah, I can definitely understand.
I'm not a person who's normally like that, but I think it just, there's something that just rubs me up the wrong way with that.
Yeah.
Like if it's a war Colin, fine, but it's not the war Colin.
Yeah, like in terms of joke, I mean, Fourth Doctor, Seeds of Doom, he's going around knocking people out left, right, and centre, cracks Scorpies in the heck.
That's fine. And it's then, Tom.
Yeah, Masker Mandragora. He has that line after what's the Count's dead. He's just like celebrating with a grin on his face. The Count is dead. Let's say Hieronymus gave him a blank look. It doesn't. Yeah, it's not like stuff like this is alien to Doctor. It's just the way it's portrayed, and yeah, I can see why it is distasteful to you, I guess, but. Yeah, it's an odd one.
I mean, I do love part one. Part one is great.
The sets are great as well for that, the space station. And like the infrastructure as well of it all. I think that's very well made.
Like compare that to Time Lash, you're like, oh, crikey.
Yeah. You could feel like that's a set that'll go on forever. Or like it's that added illusion of depth, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's very well done. I love that for a lot of it, it's not your standard multi-Doctor story. Well, I say that actually. 5 Doctors is the Doctors hardly interacting to the end of it, but at least you've got Jamie mixing with the 6th Doctor. Like the 2nd Doctor has his own little mission at the start of it and such.
I like the Sontaran attack on that station because it's such a great way of doing it. And you just see like the Sontaran hand. It was wonderful. Yeah.
I thought the Sontarans themselves are a bit underused in this story. Like it does feel like a story that's been. It wasn't plotted out first. It feels like Robert Holmes started writing this, and then eventually got to the point where he didn't know where it was going. And like the Sontarans become surplus to requirements, so they get killed off. But then one of them's still around to only then get killed off anyway. And like without even any of the other characters around, like because the acid's dropped on them, I think towards the start of part 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so then you got what's the commander's name?
Stike.
Stike. He's still going after the acid attack, but that doesn't really serve any plot necessarily. He's just there to then go over to the ship and get blown up, and then you just see his leg later carried by Shockeye. Well, everyone else has been faffing about in town. But I just have a good time with it.
I mean, I love the Androgum 2nd Doctor, like them just going off for a little meal.
Why am I thinking about food?
It plays to like the comedy of Troughton's Doctor.
Yeah, I think Robert Holmes always does great comedy. There's more than one way to cook a cat.
And there's nice bits of dark humour, which I think Saywood tries, but it never quite lands me compared to like Bob Holmes' sort of take on it, really.
Location filming's great as well.
Yeah. It adds a bit of flair to the story, I think, you know.
I'd go either find myself excited or entertainment of idiots.
I'd say, why did you make a disagreeable story or entertainment of idiots for me, personally?
Should we meet in
the middle? We'll go in the middle. Okay. I had Invasion of Time. I'll let you have 2 Doctors.
There we go. Well, let's see what's being said in the chat.
I think Stylish
one's
little hot takes.
Yeah, hot takes from earlier says hot take Sontaran experiment is really underrated. Yeah, we
agree.
We agreed on that. Hot take: the Two Doctors isn't that good and is a bit of a waste of Troughton and the Sontarans. I will say it's a waste of Sontarans, but it does give us 6 and 2 and 6 Perry and Jamie. Yeah, that's true.
No hot take so far. We're well, for you it is, but for me, Two Doctors, I agree.
Yeah. But time to dive into the new series now. I think this.
Can you do you remember the Voyage of a Down trailer for like Series 4 and that little reveal of the Sontaran? Like General Style.
Yeah, I did watch Voyage to Dam recently, but yeah, I don't remember my initial reaction on viewing it when I was young. How about you? So I'm guessing you'd have seen Sontaran Experiment before that.
I saw, I think, Sontaran Experiment 2006, and they were. I mean, this just shows how good the RTD era was. But they had a Sontaran, like the Bread for War box that was out the same time the Sontarans came back on our screens. So it was wonderful. We could go, here are the new Sontarans, but if you want to check out their history, then here's a box of them all
all the old Sontarans.
And I remember being really excited because I loved the Time Warrior, I love Sontaran Experiment, and Two Doctors all right, even for kid me. But yeah, Sontaran Stratagem and Poison Sky. I've grown to like this one more as I've watched it.
So, I mean, I've always been a fan of this one.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I've appreciated it more and more. Bit of a waste of Martha. But other than that.
It kind of gets bogged down with clone Martha than actual Martha.
Yeah, you do wonder why they brought her back for this. In some ways.
I mean, 2008 was like the year of Martha because she had her in Doctor Who Torchwood.
Yeah. I suppose she sort of played into Donna's arc, though, at the same time. Like, she's very much with what happened to her family. It's like a good way to give Donna that push to go check on hers and tell her dad about everything.
I love that, though.
Yeah. I mean, Wilf, you can never go wrong.
Just the way Tennant and Tate play that, going, you're leaving. I was like, oh, it's the only place I want to see. Oh, no, you big Dumbo. I'm just going to pop and see him.
Yeah.
It's great. And I think for me, Tennant's just on top form. And I think it's one of my favourite looks of Tennant. Just like he's got the spiky hair, the blue suit. It just is proper Tennant for me. That's like the 10th Doctor for me in this story. We have good old Ross. I love Ross. Atmos.
It's a shame. Yeah. Ross makes such an impression for a character who's only there. He's not got much screen time. But he has that great joke, doesn't he? Drives me round the bend.
Yeah. And Atmos. What a great idea using like a catalytic converter. Trying to make eco cars, and it has a resonance now. We've tried electric cars and all that. So I think for Atmos is and just a creepy sat nav as well.
Yeah,
it's using your everyday and turning it into something quite terrifying, and that's when Doctor Who excels for me.
Yeah, it's definitely something Robert Holmes often did, isn't it? And it's nice to see that tradition carried on here with one of his own creations in the Sontarans.
I do think their character. I think General Style's great. I think Christopher Ryan does an amazing job. Dan Starkey does a great job, but I think when you get to Poison Sky and like why would they have like a thing to stop them firing the bullets? I think that sort of goes against the grain for Sontarans.
Yeah, I suppose that's sort of the point of this being not their usual strategy, isn't it? Like they are very much trying to turn Earth into a clone planet. And you get decided that the war's not going so well for them at this point.
Yeah. What do you think of the design of these Sontarans? Because they seem very different to the Sontarans what we all know, and they definitely stick out now against the Chibnall Sontarans.
I mean, I think it's very much fits the RTD aesthetic, doesn't it?
Mm.
Like It's hard to comment because these are what I grew up with as well. Like I did have some of the action figures somewhere, and so it doesn't feel wrong to me, this look. But I can admit that the classic style is superior, and the fact that they got it so right back then,
it's a testament, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's a unusual decision, but I don't think it's too bad. And when we get to the Sarah Jane Adventures, where you have this more beat up Sontaran in Karg, I think the design really works there, where it's like this much less clean look for it. How about you? What do you think of this design?
I think it's all right. It's I'm not too keen on the shortness of them. I think they're a little bit too short for me.
I don't really mind that. Because that was like the point of them originally, but then that sort of gets lost in Invasion of Time and Two Doctors. Like you have a massive one in Two Doctors.
I mean, it makes sense because their gravity's heavier than Earth, so they'd be a bit more compact, is it, or something like that?
I think they probably are about the same size as Kevin Lindsay was. It is just the shoulder pads, like they're more broad, more stonk.
Yeah,
I suppose. I think that makes them look shorter because I think the classic ones do have a bit of a leaner look, I suppose.
I think if it wasn't blue, I'd be more. If it was like silver and grey, I think I'd be more down for it. It just seems it seems more sort of fanish having it like a different color.
Yeah, it's a bizarre choice.
It seems more like a shakedown Sontaran than what you'd get on the actual TV. You know,
but at the same time, this is what we grew up. Well, what I grew up at least as the design. So I can't really. I get what you're saying, but it's like the opposite of shaking the feeling of it. It just feels right to me, but I do prefer all the other looks. It just doesn't feel wrong, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, so I like the updated swagger stick, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good.
By the way, that's you. The little biting at the ankles. I think that's a nice translation from the original, the Time Warrior that goes back to.
Yeah. I'd say.
And I like their big guns as well.
Yeah, big chunky guns. They're good. They are good.
Yeah, Unit back in this story as well. It's like the first proper Unit Sontaran story. Well, only Unit Sontaran story, really.
Oh, yeah, you have like a big grand entrance, don't you? Like the whole convoy raiding like the factory. And the Valiant returns. That's a nice little in-keeping and nice little link back, forward to, Stolen Earth and
clearing it. I think when the gas is spreading and you get like the scenes of Earth being oppressed by it, you really do feel that a lot more. It's one of the strengths of the RTD era, this global feeling. You've got the whole news broadcast as such. Then just that quietness, that calmness, it takes those moments to really make things feel hopeless. Like when Wilf is like sealing them in so that the gas doesn't get in. There's just something very real about that. And I mean, you get even more of it in Turn Left where it really hits you hard. But yeah, I think this story does a good job of it too, selling the idea that they might not make out of this. I suppose it also feels a bit relatable now with COVID and everything. We lived through that first lockdown. It wasn't all gas outside, but nevertheless, we've known that thing of the streets being quiet outside and everyone being trapped indoors.
That's a good way of looking back on it, really. Yeah.
I love this story. I would say I find myself excited.
I'd agree, because I think you've got the lovely scene of, Donna flying the TARDIS. I think that's great. Bit of fun. And it's got one of the most underrated gags I think, in Doctor Who. How did he get in through the window? It's great.
You've also got the back of the neck.
You've got 3 fingers.
Yeah.
It's just stuff like that's great. That's great. It's just Pete, Tan, and Donna, and it's great.
Like I said, Christopher Ryan gives a brilliant performance as Stahl.
I think he's probably my second favourite Sontaran.
I think Luke as well.
Luke Rattigan.
I remember always used to be a bit pissed off by him when I was younger. It's like, you have my name. Why couldn't you have been a good guy? Why did you have to be so annoying?
Were you just a brat? Were you a brat?
Who knows? Maybe.
Who knows?
But hey. Yeah, and then he gets a good bit of redemption at the end, I suppose.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's done in a way that it doesn't feel cheapened. I like the line of something clever, and then he teleports himself there.
Yeah.
It's not like sorry to bash on Timeless Children again, but it's not like old what was his name?
Koshamus.
It's not like him where he just walks in, takes it off of the Doctor, and she's just fine with that and runs off.
Well, she's the genocide queen.
Yeah.
What do you think of Sontar? Because I know a lot of people are a bit iffy on it.
Yeah. It's the very RTD thing of
let's give them a catchphrase.
Give the catchphrase. Like, you got delete added to the Cybermen and such, haven't you? And so I can see why it's there. And I think it is very much more for the kids, isn't it? And people often do forget that Doctor Who, the primary audience is more kids. Yeah. And so, going around the playground when we were younger saying Sontar, I think we have more of appreciation for that than maybe some of the older fans do, who are just see it as a dumb gimmick, really. I think maybe it's a bit overdone at times. I think Big Finish have found a good way to incorporate it and not overdo it. But yeah, when they're just chanting it all the time, that feels a bit too much. But having that be like their catchphrase itself, I'm fine with. How about you?
I like it. I think you put it. It's very much for us as kids. And I remember in the playground just recreating that and just loving it. So yeah, I've got no problems with Sontar.
Yeah, it's even like the actions go with it, hasn't it? As you like put your fist in your hand.
It sort of has that sort of like hacker type of vibe where it like gets fear in your enemy, doesn't it? It's to scare your enemy. You can imagine that while they line up on the battlefield just to like chant to get themselves ready to fight.
Yeah. And I think War of the Sontarans actually makes good use of it as well, doesn't it? I think you do have the Sontarans marching. Yeah. You do have them marching along going Sontar, don't you?
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, I suppose. Moving on from Sontaran Stratagem with Poison Sky, they all got blown up at the end there by one survivor who crashed down to Earth and ends up running into Sarah Jane. In her own series, she gets to reunite with the first monster she ever faced. And what a brilliant reaction that was when she decloaks the pod and sees it. And she's like, no, we've got to get a unit. This is too big for us. Like the fear in her eyes. I think that's a great response to seeing this monster that she's sort of, it's her most iconic monster in a way, isn't it?
And Davros, I'd say, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, she did have that reaction to the Daleks as well, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, I think that very much sets up the threat of Karg here. And even though he's on his own, that's not new for a Sontaran story. Like Time Warrior and Sontaran Experiment, like the two previous times Sarah had faced them, it was just one of them. And so they do still pose the threat here. Yeah, I mean, how long's it been since you watched this one?
Oh, a good couple of years. I think they put it back on iPlayer a few years ago, and I rewatched it.
Yeah.
I think this is one of my favorite ones from memory, because I think that it's a nice balance of linking the two shows together.
Yeah, it's a very well done sequel, isn't it? It's the best example of that.
Because I love the flashback of how he got there in that forest. Because the build up of the story, like the actual build up of the story, feels very classic. In here's a little small English village. It just feels sort of quintessential.
Hopes, isn't it? Or something.
Yeah,
Pops. Yeah,
it has that sort of season 14 vibe. What
yeah, it does very much so. With the
so,
research establishment.
Yeah. So it has that sort of classic feel to it. I think that's why I love it. We get a bit of an updated Sontaran, like the helmet, the way the helmet's removed.
I'm not a bit. It's weird that they used the budget on the hat when they never bothered with it, and then they haven't bothered with it since. I think it does feel a bit over the top.
I'm not against it. I have no strong feelings. It just seems like a bit of a weird thing to introduce and not do it again.
So I think he's meant to be like a special ops Sontaran, isn't he? Like, I mean,
is he?
Can turn invisible as well. Yeah. So he is very much like that stealth Sontaran. So I can see why they've included it for that. Like, this is meant to be a more upgraded set of armor. But yeah, I mean, I do love the rugged look of it, like we said before. I think
adding the scuff's great. Yeah.
I mean, the actor in the costume, I can't remember who it is. I think he only plays Karg, doesn't he? He's not done any other anything else Sontaran related in Doctor Who.
No, he's not done Big Finish, I don't think.
Let's see. It's Anthony O'Donnell. Yeah, he's not popping up in anything else.
It's a good job.
He was in a very English scandal recently in The Crown. So he's done. Oh, he was in he was the Sheriff of York in that Robin Hood series from 2009.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's not the most prolific actor, but yeah, he's does a great job as Karg.
I mean, this is an interesting story as well, because we say sort of goodbye to the original Sarah Jane team. We say goodbye to Maria.
Yeah, it's nice how that's woven into the story as well, with her revealing to one character at a time that her dad's got this job offer, and ultimately she hasn't made a decision yet. During this story that she decides that it's okay for them to go. You got quite an interesting reaction from Sarah as well when she first hears about it. And she's very much always dismissive of Maria's concerns about it, just saying, "Oh yes, well you've got to go. It's a great opportunity." And it's that fear she has of saying goodbye, really. But at the same time, she does want what's best for Maria. So, yeah, I think it was funny on this rewatch realizing how good Maria was, and I think Rani is great too. I think Rani probably does have the edge, but then she has a lot more stories, so it sort of helps. But yeah, you do I did start to miss Maria on this rewatch after she was gone.
It's a shame she never properly come back. Like she had a few cameos, but not like a big part of the series again.
Yeah, she definitely deserved an episode where in the flesh, where they come over to England, because she's still referenced right up until the end. Like Luke is emailing her in the Nightmare Man. So, yeah, I think that leaves you with a lump in your throat at the end as they say goodbye. But I mean, the Sontaran plan to crash all the satellites into nuclear power stations in just this senseless act of revenge, really, just so that they haven't completely lost. It's like this, it's the attempt to write the Sontarans' defeat out of history, really. And I think that's a very nice take on the Sontarans, and this take on a Sontaran who's lost, really. What do they do in defeat? How do they respond to that? and it's, they throw all the toys out the pram. If they can't win, no one can. And so I think that is a great way to take the story. But also, the Sontaran music is actually really good in this. They've got their own theme here as well.
I vaguely remember it.
I think it does have Sontaran worked into it slightly.
Oh, that's genius then.
Yeah.
I remember Clyde getting a bit to do with it as well.
Yeah, he's like the main distraction of Karg. He's like the one who's pissing him off most of the time. To get his attention. Yeah, I'd probably say I'd find myself excited.
I'd agree with that. Because I think I enjoy it more than Invasion of Time and Two Doctors from memory.
Now we're on to the from the Series 2 premiere to the Series 2 finale of Sarah Jane Adventures. We got Enemy of the Bane, which, like we say, is less Sontaran centric. It's sort of following on from him after this story where Sarah Jane lets him go at the end. He's become a mercenary and he ends up working for the Bane and is delivering this scroll that awakens this ancient god creature type thing. I mean, you got last appearance of Nicholas Courtney as the Brigadier in this story. So that's always going to be touching. Yeah, I mean, he's great in this. Sneaky into the Black Archive. It's a pretty good. It's not as good as Last Sontaran, I would say, but I'd probably put it on the same level if I find myself excited.
Yeah, this one I can barely. I remember some dodgy Bane CGI, but
yeah,
I remember liking it.
You've got that unit captain who turns out to be a Bane. But, he gives quite an interesting performance. Quite a sinister one.
It's great to have Mrs. Wormwood back because it sort of becomes full circle with Luke now having his own identity, really.
It's right. It's him facing his abuser, really, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
She's trying to take on this Mulledy role to him, but she never was that as such. And so, I think that's, it puts Sarah Jane in an interesting position as well, where she spent a lot of this story without Luke, like Mrs. Wormwood's taken him. And so it's very much this Muller versus Muller, nature versus nurture in some ways. And like, even more so than what we had in The Lost Boy, really.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that same angle, but taken to more of an extreme. War of the Sontarans now, I guess. I mean, we've already talked about these two quite in depth recently. We had What the Flux, we tier listed them as well. So don't have to spend too much time on this, but check the chat, see if anyone's had much to say. Adam the Ultimate Whovian has joined us. Hello, Adam.
Hello, Adam.
Tenant towers over the Sontarans, which does make me chuckle. Slider's one is back and says Time Warrior is a top tier Sontaran story, but only a second highest tier Pertwee story. I prefer Death to the Daleks and especially Invasion of the Dinosaurs. It's still great though. You'll have to wait for the season 11 tier list to see where we rank it in comparison to those.
Even I can't remember where we put it.
Yeah, that's true. That's the thing. It's been so long now. I can't.
Yeah. I look forward to finding out where we did put it.
So, War of the Sontarans, I guess. Back to this one now. I mean, have you rewatched it at all since Flux?
Yeah.
I have.
This is the only one I've rewatched of Flux.
It's the only one I want to rewatch of Flux.
It's my favourite of Flux. A lot of people say Village of Angels is their favourite, but for me, War of Sontarans is just...
I think War of the Sontarans stands alone better as well.
Yeah.
And I suppose probably one of the best of the Whittaker era, really.
It's definitely in my top 5 Jodie Whittaker stories. If not, it might be my second favorite. I don't know.
It got the Sontarans so right. It got the look really well, and it's great having them in this Crimea setting, like swapping them out for the Russians and having them infiltrating history in that way. It doesn't have too much to say on the topic. It is very much just there for the aesthetic, really, of like Sontarans.
And I think Sontarans just work in like historical settings, you know.
Oh yeah, they very much do. I suppose because they do almost have that look of a medieval knight, don't they? But just a bit weird. And obviously that was the original idea with them. I mean, Sarah even doesn't necessarily recognize him as an alien at first. She just thinks that's a weird looking knight at Irongod's castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some very impressive visuals as well.
The first time we actually get like a proper Sontaran army in combat, really.
Or like even at all in some.
Yeah.
I mean,
you get it in Sontaran stratagem, but I don't think that's like on the scale of War of the Sontarans.
No, definitely not. And that's also more of just like a small battle, isn't it, compared to this?
Yeah.
This is a full-on war, as the title says.
It is wonderful.
I think Jodie gives a very strong performance here as well. She's on her own for most of it.
It just shows Jodie,
at least.
It just shows that she excels with like the confrontational stuff, like with Ashad, Shashaduan, like Jodie really, like even the Daleks, like the hologram of, I think, is it Lynn? I can't remember from like Resolution. Jodie really excels with like the quieter villain moments, and yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things about her Doctor.
Oh, on second thought, put it back on.
Yeah,
great stuff like that. I also like how she's going up against the military generals of the British forces as well.
Yeah,
I think that.
Mary
so
Sequel.
Much, yeah,
it's a wonderful delight.
Mrs. Sequel to you,
and like just that she was looking after, a Sontaran as well. It's all good
in the
stuff.
end, does this all get undone, or is the Crimean War permanently a Sontaran conflict now in Doctor Who history?
Who knows?
I love that look at the map where it's just Russia's replaced by Sontaran. Which version of history do you prefer, says BBC America?
That's aged terribly. Yeah. But probably Dan's best story.
Yeah, he's got like his modern day approach. He's very much on his own, trying to take down the Sontarans.
Yeah, with his walk, all good fun. Just gonna walk right out here. Yeah. The execution squad, I love. Like that's proper Sontarans. I think Chibnall as well gets the humor.
It doesn't feel over. I feel like Moffat is where a lot of people started to not take the Sontarans seriously and did laugh at them a lot more.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's also soured people's view of Sontaran Stratagem of Poison Sky. They sort of see that as the start of it when it really wasn't. It was more when you get into the Moffat era that started to happen. But even then, they were taken fairly seriously in Pandorica Opens.
But they're only in for like a
they are already in it for a little bit, but still. Christopher Ryan again, just bringing the presence. Really, I think that's what sells their inclusion there. Yeah, then you do sort of have that downfall where they're constantly side characters, and I don't mind. I really like Strax. I think that's what it's. Again, it's one of the things where we've mellowed as we got older, isn't it? Like I think we really used to get quite passionate about Dan Sontaran's treatment, but overall, I don't mind all the individual cases, but it's nice that they've come back with a redesign, fresh look, fresh take on them, and can still be this imposing threat, can still be menacing, but also can still have a bit of humor there as well, because they always had that right back to the Time Warrior.
Got to mention it, the horse. What a visual that is,
I wanted to ride a horse.
And now you can get a figurine of it. Amazing.
Yeah. And the fact that was the director's idea as well, wasn't it? Is it Jamie Magnus?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, he just wanted that visual, and Jim was like, "Yeah, you go, you can have it."
It's good. It's good.
I mean, it's not a. It almost happened in a Time Warrior. To be fair, it's all like an off-screen thing.
I feel like it's a Mandela effect for me because I swear it happened in there, but obviously not.
Yeah, I mean, certainly when I watched it recently, it wasn't in there. But so, like, you have the line where they say, "Find him a horse, and he'll ride with us to the Sir Edward's castle." But then by the time you actually get to Sir Edward Castle, he's already dismounted. He's just standing there. I suppose it's just too much for them to get the costume on there, so they just didn't bother. But yeah, it's not too out there, but it's a nice inclusion. And I think it just sort of shows their appreciation of all forms of military history, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd probably say I find myself excited.
Oh, okay.
Maybe entertainment for idiots, but
I was thinking top tier for me.
Oh, really?
I think this is one of the Sontaran's best outings.
Oh.
I have a lot of fun with it.
I feel like it's sort of impacted by everything that's going on around it, though. Because it's not standalone, it is part of Flux.
That is, yeah, I see that.
That's, yeah.
Should we meet in the middle?
Yeah. That's
I find myself excited.
Yeah, that's a fair place. Well, has anyone got any hot takes in the chat? Adam says, I think Dan had some great scenes with Sontarans in modern day Liverpool. Yeah. Now I'm going to walk on out of here. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Just looking for the Birkenhair, hair, mate. It's good.
Stage One says, I tweeted the other day, those early Big Finish Sontarans are awful. What were they thinking? They went a bit too CGI heavy at the time. But the Daleks aren't nearly as bad as those Sontarans. Yeah, I saw your tweet, Stylish One. That was quite amusing. I didn't realise quite how cursed a lot of those pictures were. Like, I know the Heroes of Sontar is a very weird look, but yeah, certainly some of the more full-on CGI ones are a bit weird. Stylish One puts it quite well. That War of Sontaran says top tier Sontaran story, not top tier Doctor Who, but top tier Sontaran. War of Sontarans has had to do a fairly standalone story in an arc-heavy series. It links back to what came before and links forward to what comes. Not only next episode, but also the finale. I mean, we'll get onto that in a second. But it does feel weirdly disconnected from the Sontarans in the finale. Like, I feel like they're quite nicely wrapped up in War of the Sontarans, but then suddenly they're having another go at invading Earth.
Yeah.
In the finale, and it's like a different attempt as well. It's really,
because I thought it was the original attempt, but it's a different bunch, isn't it?
Because like the first lot snuck through the shield before it got up. This lot getting through the shield after it. But somehow the shield is still there, yet they're all down. Yeah. Does anyone know what happens in the Vanquishers? Yeah, we sort of talked at length about this one even more recently as well. But I can't say I like it anymore now.
I can't say I've revisited it since our last chat about it.
No.
I don't think it's the worst of Flux.
I think it is, but
we're on a different page there then.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely one of the bottom two categories.
Okay.
For me, where would you?
I'd say maybe the entertainment. That's as far as I'd go with it. But I think for me, I'd watch it over Two Doctors.
Wow.
Like,
I'd definitely choose Two Doctors, or even Invasion of Time over this.
I mean, it's just over quicker.
That is true.
I admire Chibnall's, hey, we've got a B monster, let's make a A monster material. I admire that.
Yeah, I like that meta approach.
But yeah, I can see why it's not well regarded, because characters just get pushed aside. Like Kate Stewart never amounted to anything. The way the Grand Serpents wrapped up. I see, that's the thing. We're talking now, but obviously we've got the centenary to go. I can't see like the Grand Serpent coming in. Legendary
I
Sea
also
Devils.
think there'd be too much going on
Be
again.
too much.
If he was.
So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see when the Chibnall era is all done to see whether the Vanquishers does get a bit more of an improvement. But
it just, for me, it just feels so rushed through plot points. You never have a chance to breathe. Nothing ever really sinks in at all. It's like it's reading a Wikipedia plot. Everything that is there to get a basic understanding of it is there, but no emotion whatsoever. You can see where there's meant to be emotion, but you just don't feel any.
Oh, when Jericho dies, Yaz had nothing.
Yeah.
You spent like 5 years of your life, or how many years it was? 3, 5?
Yeah, I think
remember.
3 or 4, wasn't it? Yeah. And the fact that's just brushed over, really. You never feel like they have actually spent that time away from them. And that's the thing. Like, even with this invasion of Earth, you have all these great CGI shots of it everywhere. You never feel like this is happening. And again, that's something that Russell always got very well. Like we were saying about Poison Sky earlier, you feel the hopelessness of that situation. You feel like this is a real world being choked by the Sontaran's gas. Here, you don't feel like this is a real world that's been invaded by the Sontarans.
Wow, time's all messed up, isn't it? I don't know.
But then does it ever get fixed?
No. I mean, the resolution with Passenger, I thought, was quite a nice little go. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but it's the same resolution we got in Revolution of the Daleks. It's a copy. And I didn't really like it much then either.
Sure, I've probably watched Vanquishers more than I've watched Revolution of the Daleks.
Right, I've watched them both the same amount, I think, but
and I know which one's aging better.
Yeah, that's true. I'll take this over. It's my least favorite type of Chibnall episode. It is everyone in a TARDIS for no reason, too many characters, no one with anything to do.
3 doctors.
Yeah, for no reason. Why overstuff it with 3 doctors? Why can you not give other characters these plots? Why not just stick her with Azure and Swarm?
The whole sort of memory thing, like the house, annoyed me. Yeah, I wanted more from that. You know, I thought you could have a whole episode just that, not PowerPoint material, but like an actual. Let's do some freaky stuff.
Yeah, like you could explore so much with that. But no, it's not. It's just there to interest you, to say, "Oh, you like this. Where do you think this will go?" It's there to get you thinking. It's not there to have any actual substance within itself. And that is what this whole Timeless Children arc has been since it first started. It's been a promise of something that's not been delivered yet.
Do you think it will be delivered by the centenary?
No. Not really. I've given up hoping. I just want this era done with.
You just want Russell to come in and go, here you go.
Yeah, he's good Doctor Who. Remember what it felt like.
I mean, Flux had its moments, I'll say that.
Yeah, I think
I enjoyed
the
serialized of it, yeah. I enjoyed the serial format of it.
But then, yeah, Vanquishers just crushed me again. So
but we should have known, we're Doctor Who fans, we never get like a good finale.
No. I mean, even Russell could struggle with finale, so
yeah, that's Russell's downfall, but you know, still good stuff.
Yeah. So would the disagreeable story be agreeable?
I'll agree. I'll agree to that. I'll agree to disagree with that.
Yeah. There we are.
Yeah. There we go. Sontaran tier list.
Yeah, let us know any of your final Sontaran thoughts before we move on to the news. Hello, Mr. Bonk Cactus.
Hello.
Yeah. Silas one says, was Sontaran's altering history ever explained, though? Nope, not really. I mean, was maybe their ship destroyed before it even took off? I don't know. I think because we were expecting a universe reboot at the end of the Vanquishers, we sort of let a lot of things slide, but then nothing ever really happened. Like, they didn't even undo the first Flux event, which apparently destroyed most of the universe. And then for some reason, there was a second Flux event out of nowhere. I just feel like banging my head against a wall whenever I try to think of Flux.
I just remember enjoying the ride. I enjoy the ride, but if I start thinking about it, that's when I probably will start to hate it. So I'm just got to remember enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Montcatcher says, I gave up with opinions on Flux. You either love it or hate it.
Yeah. I love it for the most part.
Yeah. Adam the Ultimate Hoobie says, big up Jonathan Watson and Dan Starkey for his various Sontaran roles in both War and Vanquishers. Chocolate. I like that scene for the meme, but I don't think it really serves much plot purpose.
It's that Chibnall humor of like the Wi-Fi, isn't it?
But I think it's better than that.
Yeah.
But it's not great. It's also the fact the scene before that is literally only there to set up this scene, which in itself is just there to set up the next scene. It's like you're not writing a story, you're writing a plot going from A to B to C to D. And Mr. Montcatcher says, I think I'm the only one in the world who has Dan Stark as my favourite Sontaran actor.
I mean, he's done enough to prove himself.
Yeah, he certainly is the most prolific Sontaran actor. And I think he's got a good range as well. Like, he can do the classic voice too. And I think he feels more right than the heroes of Sontar voices.
I mean, I think, is it John Banks?
Yeah. He does a great job.
He does a good job. I mean, get Dan Stark and John Banks together and like the Sontarans said, they're a good combo.
I wonder if we'll ever get Christopher Ryan doing classic Sontaran style voice.
That'd be, I know. I feel like General Style's already in that classic, camp.
Yeah,
of Sontaran.
Like in just as a classic Sontaran in general on Big Finish because he has only been the purple voice.
I would love that. Yeah. I would love it. I mean, I'm sure we'll get Jonathan Watson in at some point to do him.
Yeah, he did a great job. Yeah. Starch one says, "Big up Dan Starkey."
Big up Dan Starkey.
He's one of those ones with a very versatile voice, like, very similar to John Coleshaw, really, isn't he?
He's a voice you can recognise as well.
We
instantly know, that's Dan Starkey.
Yeah. I suppose, shall we check out the news now? Then
let's check out. Quite literally. Yeah. Right, the old Big Finish news.
Yeah, I mean, did kind of have some new series news actually with the SFX magazine coverage of Legend of the Sea Devils.
Yes, we do, and apparently there's going to be a midnight announcement tonight. I don't know. Every night seems to be a midnight announcement for people. Some people are saying we get the announcement of a new Doctor or Legendary Sea Devil air date or trailer.
Yeah, because we still don't have that official yet, too. I feel like it's got to be. I don't think we're going to get anything RTD now until after Legend of the Sea Devils.
He did an interview recently, I think, on some show going, I'm not going to answer any Doctor Who questions as far as I'm concerned. Jodie and Chibnall are Doctor Who until October.
The incumbent. Yeah. True.
And then once that's out of the way, then I can start talking to you about the plans I've got.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't do it in a nasty way. It's just like, look, let's focus. I think he realizes that everyone's really looking forward to what he's doing. I don't think he wants to be disrespectful for what's coming up.
But I think certainly we are going to get news and filming is going to begin. I mean, it's happened before, like with most
Series
Doctors, we get sneak peeks at what are coming while there's still the previous Doctor on air.
I mean, again, this is all speculation and rumor. They're meant to be started filming in April, so people are saying,
I swear that was said in Doctor Who magazine.
Was it Doctor Who? I can't.
I swear that's where people started talking about
that. So I guess we could get 60th news, maybe. But again, that just seems so long to, be at that point. But again, if they're going to start filming in April, you kind of want to get it all out going, by the way, look who's back, or this is the plan.
Yeah, I think hopefully after the Legend of Sea Devils, things start to spill out a lot more, and then you get all that excitement out of the way, then you could turn back to the centenary, have that be the focus, and then after that, full on RTD hype train. I mean, some more pictures of like the characters' looks were one thing; they all look pretty good there.
Get a full body shot of the Sea Devil.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Got a sword.
I think apparently they're meant to be like a crew of Sea Devil pirates.
Oh,
which is an interesting take on it. So
okay, all right.
Be interesting. The leader has a hat.
Oh, yes. I'm down for that.
Yeah, I'm hoping for just a nice, fun standalone story.
Do you think Briggs will do the voice?
It wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't mind if it was someone else, though, as long as they could do something recognizable. Because when you've got that look so close to the original, you've got to go for the same voice as well, haven't you?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
This planet is ours.
Wow, that's your sneak peek of Legend of the Sea Devils. That's a little audio clip of it.
That's your reveal. I am the Sea Devil voice.
There you go. Coming soon.
But yeah, speaking of audio, big finish
audio
now.
News.
Yeah. Some Sixth Doctor news at long last, because
talking about water as well.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully even Sea Devils in this. I remember when the news dropped, you and James were discussing it and started speculating that there's a little bit of room there next to Mel. Could this be another fake cover, and we're gonna get a Sea Devil plonked there and them featuring in the first story? Because the synopsis itself is quite vague about the threat in it.
Let's have a little look. The Rotting Deep.
By Jacqueline Rayner.
Are
you excited for this new start for the Sixth Doctor?
I am. But I think I'm more excited for the Unbound thing.
That's bad.
But we are getting a lot of Colin. I think I was listening to the Sounds of Audio because they recently got Colin on for like their 100th episode.
And
it's interesting him saying that he's recorded more Big Finish in like the 2 years than he's done in like the past 10 or something daft like that. He's like,
it wouldn't surprise.
He's just been recording non-stop by the looks of it, and this year's definitely proving that.
Yeah, I think he's probably the most available actor, isn't he?
I mean, he says he's semi-retired, but at this point, he's practically there. He's doing like the Blake 7 audiobooks and all that. So yeah, it's not just Doctor Who. Colin is pretty much Big Finish.
Do you think they're getting him to do like Tom's done now? They are like recording these a bit further in advance.
Maybe. I see. That's the thing with the relaunch. It's been on the horizon. There's been rumblings ever since like 2017 when they did like Alien Heart, Dalek Soul. Like there was rumblings that's the main range. This is going to be the new main range. So it's interesting to see when they started doing this, when scripts started to. But it seemed like a 2020 then when the relaunch started to become a proper physical thing.
Yeah, that's true.
From looking at because one of the writers, I think it's an American, and like he showed a screen grab of like the message, and it was like 2020. Which one is it?
Is that Joshua?
Yeah.
Tides
of the Moon.
I mean, speaking of the whole double bill thing with the two-parters, that's something we didn't get much up with the Sixth Doctor after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he did, as in terms of two-parters, I think he did only have, what was it? Cortex Fire and Vortex Ice, isn't it? Whereas Fifth Doctor very much leaned into the two-parters. And Seventh Doctor also got a couple, like Displaced and Flying Dutchman. So here it's nice to see for the Sixth Doctor's first box set, he is going full on two-parters. It's nice that Hebe, the new companion, is very much front and center of this, both cover-wise and also in terms of stories. The fact that we are visiting free water worlds with a marine biologist.
Do you think Hebe's like a one companion box set type of companion, or do you think she's
in the next one?
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. They're certainly carrying on with her for at least a little bit. I feel like maybe 4 box sets, maybe more.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? Do you expect her to be done after the first 2?
I'd probably say because I feel like they'd want to change it up, and I think to keep it fresh, you want to have different TARDIS crews, really.
I think they will mix it up, but I think they won't just write her out. They'll still.
I don't think they'd give her like an ending. I think it'd be like old Perry, then maybe like Constance and Flip, or Flip and then Constance. I think it'll alternate.
Yeah. But yeah, certainly we have her for the 2 box sets this year, so we'll get the full start of her. And we only have to wait 3 months because it's out in August, the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, go. Rip the cover to shreds. I know you've been waiting to.
I'm not a fan. I love the style. I love the style for the War Doctor and the audio novels. I just don't think it works for this type of range, personally.
I think this one's grown on me a bit, but I do feel like they're overusing this style, and I think the covers themselves can be very hit or miss. I think that this one isn't too bad. It's got a decent composition to it, but a lot of them can be very bland. I think I'm still not a fan at all of the War Doctor 3. War Doctor Begins. What is it? Battlegrounds. I think that is not a great cover. Yeah, it's a shame. A lot of the covers have been shaky this year. Like it's less excitement of what's this cover going to look like, and more worry of is this going to be a good cover for a change.
Yeah, because I feel like the Annihilators has been like the actual. Oh, that's a really nice cover so far.
Yeah, I mean, this one when I first saw it, I did think, is this an audio novel at first? But then
it does have that look, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's also weird that we're switching up the style again, or like the format, because now the logo's shifted back at the top for some reason, even though with the relaunch, I thought, the whole point of shifting the logo to the bottom was to give these covers this consistent look. But now this sort of like has that same style as the Eccleston ones, doesn't it? Where it's like the big main title and Sixth Doctor Adventures written above that. I mean, maybe they'll amend it at some point, but it's weird.
I mean, this could be the fake cover, like you say. Could have the Sea Devil, so it might not be the final cover.
But it feels weird that they didn't set down a consistent format for this relaunch, because that's
the whole point of the relaunch, wasn't it? Really, to make it all consistent across the board. Each Doctor has their own identity within a box set, really.
Yeah, but then they've sort of like been messing around a lot with different things. Like the Forecast audio drama was something they dropped for a while. Like it's not on Out of Time 3, for example, because it looked like they were dropping it and just going for the names written at the top. But maybe not enough people were understanding that these were still Forecast audio dramas to decide to stick it back on there.
Well, on Solo and the Annihilator, you've got the Forecast audio drama little stick. Well, it's not even a sticker, but that little circle.
Yeah, it's made to look like a sticker, isn't it? So yeah, it's weird. Like they did that, and then they've seemed to have settled on this for now, which I'm fine with. Like that's what it was originally anyway. But yeah, it's a bit bizarre that it keeps changing when this is meant to be like, fresh start. You think it's easy enough just to settle on one thing and then just stick with that. But, apparently not for Big Finish.
I'm sure the box set will be good itself.
Yeah, I'm hyped for the box set itself. The stories all look great, particularly the first and last one. Yeah, I don't know. And then, any hopes for the second box set?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm kind of just enjoying the ride and just seeing what comes, to be honest, and seeing if anything sort of surprises me with it.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just one of those people like I don't really have hopes. I'm just like, just wait to see what happens with it all, really.
So just along for the ride.
I'm like, I've bought the box set, I've got it regardless. I'm already sold at that point. I kind of don't need convincing. Yeah,
that's true. We're just here for more adventures, really, aren't we?
And it's just an excuse to talk to you on the street.
Yeah, I mean, like I haven't picked these up yet, but there's no way I'm not getting this set. So
yeah, it's not one of those ones where you could be selective on. I don't think.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like anything that's mainline Doctor Who,
it's kind of the core stuff, isn't it? This.
Yeah, I mean, we say core. It's a large amount of output. It's not cheap, but yeah, it is very much. We don't really pick and choose when it comes to this stuff. It's like this is what it is, and then the other like more spin-off stuff comes down to how much money we have at the time, how much money we're spending.
I will say on the cover, it does annoy me that it's the Matt Smith TARDIS box.
That's weird.
Sorry,
I think it's because it's like so blurred out. It's hard to tell, but yeah, it definitely doesn't look.
Just come to me now. I was like, oh, that's the Matt Smith TARDIS.
I do think it's an odd choice to have the wheelchair tipped on its side.
Maybe it's a story detail.
But then that's a bit of a worrying story detail when you've got, the whole thing of this is the first disabled companion in the TARDIS. It's not very pro-disability to have her out of her wheelchair for one of the stories. What is that? Who knows?
We'll have to wait and listen, I guess.
Starship says the new Sixth Doctor box set sounds amazing. The first story sounds like the oil rig scene from 529 as a whole ep. Sign me up. I've always wanted an oil rig set story. I mean, we kind of got something similar with Nightmare of the Daleks, but hopefully something a bit better than that here.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I mean, it's always hopefully like a nice base under siege story. What we want, this remote setting. Yeah. I think people are suspecting RTD2 news tomorrow as it's the anniversary of Rose, says Adam the Ultimate Whovian.
We'll get Eccleston probably on Big Finish series.
Yeah, I think that's the main hope. Yeah.
That's all I'm expecting, to be honest, from tomorrow. Well, midnight.
Yeah. Stylish one says, yeah, I'm still not a fan of the painted covers. The only good ones are Scourge of the Cybermen and the new Unbound set, in my opinion. I like some of the War Doctor ones. I'm not a big fan of the Unbound one.
The tabloid format works for the War Doctor, but for this, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Give me a photo cover, please.
I think, it's also just me worrying that what else is it going to be on? Is this going to be the Seventh Doctor now?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of them start to feel the same after a while, and so it's no longer this special style for.
It loses the identity of other Rangers, I think. Because I understand why the War Doctor begins in like the tabloid format because of John Hurt. Whereas we have pictures of Colin, and I'm sure we can get photos of Ruth Madley, and
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Stylish One says, I really hope Beyond War Games is Photoshop and not a painted cover. 100%. Especially not a painted cover of just the second Doctor head in the title sequence.
Yeah, the Outlaws is the worst offender of that cover art, you know. I mean, at least Waterworld feels like a complete cover.
Yeah, that's true. It does feel like a full cover at least. Stylish One says, those forecast stickers remind me of the BBC 7 sticker on Human Resources.
Aged them terribly. Because I don't even think it's called BBC 7 now, I think it's like BBC 4 or something like that. Radio 4, that's it, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of War Doctor, we do have a bit of War Doctor news.
Yeah, we do. Cass returns, but not as Cass.
Yeah.
Might link to it.
I think it must have a link because you've also got Ken Bones and what's her name? Adele Anderson in there, but not playing the General and forgotten the character's name again.
Tamasan,
there we go. They are instead playing
Dorothy.
David and Dorothy. I mean, what do you think of these 3 stories?
Keeper of Light could be like Light the Flame. You know, the Doctor's keeping the light of the universe on and not letting it all fall into darkness and ruin. But I like the sound of this box set, you know. I think it's a nice little change of pace and tone for the range.
Yeah, I think we're going for the more out there stories, aren't we?
Which I think, well, that's what the Time War needs, to be honest. And so far, we've both loved the 2 boxes that have come so far. I'm looking forward to it, you know.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to hear more Jonathan Carley in the role and stretch his acting muscles with things which aren't the usual war stories. Yeah, funnily enough, the one I'm looking forward to most is probably the one that is the closest to being a war story with Temesis, named after one of the files. Yeah, I mean, I do like my files, so interested to see what that's like.
And I don't think we've delved into the files on the Time War side, really, have we?
No, we really haven't. I mean, there's sort of this part of Doctor Who history that you pick and choose whether they exist or not. Certain stories will treat Skaro as just the home planet of the Daleks and nothing more, and then blow it up for that. Other stories will remember there are fouls around. I mean, yeah, they weren't included in anything between the Daleks and Planet of the Daleks, were they?
No,
they're just not forgotten about, really. And then after that, I mean, you get them in Genesis. But Destiny, they don't really play a role at all.
No.
Yeah, actually, it's never struck me about that, but it is weird that they don't play a single role in Destiny, because surely they're still on the planet, maybe.
They just went to Sparrow and thought, bugger it, we'll go Sparrow instead.
Yeah, that's what, because, in Planet of the Daleks, Skaro is meant to be the full-on File homeworld. Like, they've now set up their own civilization there and just started going into space.
Return to Skaro?
What's going on here?
No.
Yeah, we'll turn to Skaro as well. We get that set up. That's a weird thought. I've never gone down this rabbit hole before of the files.
But here we are.
Yeah. I mean, we had a Dalek sort of included a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like they've sort of moved on from Skaro. So
Brotherhood of the Daleks does something a bit different with the files from memory.
So yeah. But yeah, a lot of Dalek stories will just sort of ignore them, I guess. But yeah, so it's nice to
picks and choose.
Yeah. Nice to see what they're up to during the Time War, how they play into it. How they seem to be allies of the Time War, Time Lords, but not on an even footing. It's something that isn't necessarily a new idea to explore, but nevertheless exciting.
Is that Is it June or May that's set out?
May, this one.
Okay, so not too long to wait then.
No.
So we might have a trailer next week then, maybe.
Yeah, could do. There we go. We didn't get Stranded 4 trailer until this week. Have you checked that one out?
Yeah, bit of an interesting trailer.
They keep them short but sweet, the Stranded ones.
Yeah. I guess I don't really want to spoil the crux of it all, really.
Yeah, I'm still hyped for that one. I mean, I've told you about this, but I am coming around on the first Doctor Outlaws quite a bit. I've been listening to that trailer a few times, and it's really clicking with me a lot more. Partly watching the Time Warrior helped that, actually, because it is that same sort of setting with these attacks on these castles and such. You know, the outlaws going around. I think it all just sort of nicely clicked into place, and I am coming round on Stephen Noonan in the role of the First Doctor. I think I'm hearing it a lot more now. There's still, I mean, you said there are lines where he feels a bit too aggressive. I still feel like the bring my cloak line, you always expect him to go, and bring my stick too, just in case they feel like beating you with it later, child.
Yeah, like I get what he's trying to do, but Bill Hartnell was so varied, you know, story to story.
He could sometimes snap, couldn't he?
But I think it kind of leans in too much to that crotchetism, because I think people forget that there's a twinkle to Hartnell's Doctor, which I think, you know, when you do the brief bio of what the characteristic of that Doctor, you say, oh, crotchety old man, cosmic hobo, dandy. Like, there's more to Hartnell's Doctor than the crotchety old man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think Stephen Noonan does seem to have really taken this seriously, done a lot of research into it. So I trust that it's just more something that will be mellowed out as time goes on with the performance. He's still like measuring it up exactly what to do. Yeah. I mean, it could just be that one instance. Like the rest of the story, it could be fine.
Yeah, like the bit when he's talking, I think, to like the miniaturist about the ship. Like, that's proper Bill Hartnell. I can picture that. You know, there are bits where you're like, yeah, that is bob on.
Yeah, I think he's got the rhythm down very well.
But then he has a slight lightness to it as well, which I like. Yeah, good, very good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it now. I think both stories seem quite interesting as well. I mean, I'm a fan of Rufus Hound as the monk. You are less so.
No.
Be interested to see how you do with the Outlaws. But yeah, you got your two-parter miniaturist in there as well, at least.
Yeah, that'd be all right, hopefully.
So yeah, there we go. That's the plot twist of this Big Finish fan. Not even Big Finish fans. This is just the live stream. But yeah, if you've been following along for a while, you've known I've had some varied thoughts on First Doctor Adventures, but I'm coming round on it now. And I think, again, it just shows I need to have faith in Big Finish and their recast, because they really do get it right every time for the most part. Yeah. So it's Fourth Doctor Adventures now.
Yeah, we've had a first part of Series 11. Now this is the second part.
Yeah. And it's a chunky one as well.
A little extra bonus.
Yeah. And again, look, it's the going back to full cast audio drama at the top there rather than it being a sticker, which works much better. But why did you not just do that in the first place? And now they're in.
It's fine. Once it's on the shelf, you won't know. You'll forget about it.
Yeah.
And then you pull it out.
It's not on the spine, so out of sight, out of mind. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird title because he's only in the first story.
You get a solo because it's Tom on his own.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this one.
They're still keeping the Deadly Assassin look, aren't they?
Yeah, they sort of added the cravat there, haven't they?
Which interesting, because like even in I think is it Blood of a Time Lord's?
Yeah, they mentioned the scarf in it, so he's obviously not going around like that anyway.
But you kind of feel, this might just be my little weird brain just going, no, I shall imagine it as the cover intended.
Yeah, I sort of tried to work that in. I mean, it's interesting when you get to part 2 of the Ravencliff Witch, he has to have a change of clothes and borrow some from the lighthouse keeper. And so I think he is meant to spend the rest of the story in different clothes.
Okay.
So but it feels wrong to imagine Tom in anything other than because he never really changed. The only time I can think is Genesis of the Daleks when he's in like the fall black suit. That's Matt's suit.
Mm.
Other than that,
I mean, he dresses the mummy, but you don't see him as the mummy. But he was in it.
Yeah, that's true. But that's the same as him getting in a Dalek, though. Not that he does that,
true.
but he's still got the same clothes on underneath, so it's not quite the same as a costume change. But yeah. I mean, maybe the clothes the lighthouse keeper was wearing just happened to be the same clothes from the Deadly Assassin. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see these covers.
Individuals, yeah.
Yeah, I think peak season, I can't imagine that working with the Deadly Assassin style. That just seems like such a long scarf story, I guess. That's like the more abstract
cartoonish,
one.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Cartoonist.
Yeah, we'll see what they have to offer with these. Which one of the 3 are you most excited for?
Shell Shock.
Same. The synopsis for the first story, The Dreams of Avarice, like the main selling point of this with the 9 in it, it doesn't actually give you anything story-wise.
No.
It is. It very much sums up who the 9 is, and that the Doctor's there to stop him committing a crime, and that's about it. You don't get anything on location or other character or anything. It is a very... It says a lot without saying anything, that synopsis. And so I don't know whether to be worried about that story or excited for the possibilities.
I had a bit of a shock seeing Guy Adams because like I've not seen that name for a long time. I was like, oh, Guy Adams is back. But obviously this was recorded many years ago.
Yeah, I swear he's still doing a fair bit.
He's not as regular as he was like 2017, 2018.
Yeah, that's true, actually, looking at this. Yeah, he was script editor on Lost Resort and Other Stories. That's his last credit. He's doing Ice Heist as well for the next series of Fourth Doctor. Better than that. Yeah, he does. He has got less of a role. I only just realised that.
Yeah. Sounds like a pretty good box set, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for it. And plus, 5 discs as well. You've got more chance for good stories this time around.
I mean, so far, I'm enjoying Solo.
Yeah, I think Solo's had some good offerings. So hopefully Series 11 as a whole is a win with Tom on his own.
Yeah, because Series 10 was sort of 50-50, I feel. So I liked World Traders. Dead of Comet was a standout one. Then Thaddeus Nook was the strong one of that set. And then Primeval Design was probably the weakest of the bunch, really.
Yeah, I'd agree. Which is a shame because, well, we've gone over this in Fourth Doctor Adventures tier list, and I'm sure we'll update that after this one's out, so we can add the whole of Series 11. So that'll be something to look forward to in June or July. But yeah, certainly that one, it had a lot going for it, Primeval Design, but just nothing quite gelled the way it should have, sadly. Yeah, Big Finish flexing that the next Fourth Doctor Adventures box set is 5 discs when that used to be the norm shows how times have changed. Yeah, true. But this isn't a 5 discs used to be the normal but behind the scene discs, then 4 normal ones. This is a bit different in the sense that it's all of them are dedicated to stories. And so, it's 10 episodes But compare this to the price of Philip Hinchcliffe Presents 1 and the Fourth Doctor Lost Stories, which was also 5 discs worth of actual story content, plus an extra disc worth of behind the scenes. And it really just... it's really quite shocking, actually. The fact that you can buy this set twice, and it's still cheaper than Philip Hinchcliffe Presents on its own.
And it doesn't make sense just to buy the downloads of these stories because you're not going to get peak season. So
I wonder if they are going to add that separately at some. Like when they reveal the covers, they might also put that up as its own download.
I just think it's a nice incentive, but I think most people who get a Big Finish are probably going to get the box set.
Yeah, you get it cheaper as well.
Yeah,
no doubt. Even more so if you go for the bundle. Yeah.
Like the Fourth Doctor then?
Oh, Sage one says, news article explains more about the first story. It's about dreams affecting reality, it seems. Yeah, so it does seem, yeah. I think maybe they are being deliberately vague with that because it is going to be a weird, trippy story. But yeah, I'm also, it seems like we got 2 trippy stories there with peak season as well.
Yeah, peak season does sound a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, perfect. I'm excited for that. Nice little 2-parter again for the Fourth Doctor. It's refreshing. Like they have more impact when there's fewer of them. Like Shadow of the Sun, really. We got hyped for that, didn't we?
Well, I think that was a curiosity one because, like, oh, how a Big Finish doing lockdown? Really?
Yeah,
I think it was. I think it was like a little trial run just to see, okay, how does this work? What do people think of it?
Yeah, and I think that's also, this sort of has the same vibe of it because I think peak season was done during lockdown as well.
It's going to be interesting to see if we notice the difference in like Tom's voice.
Yeah, I mean this was, so Dreams of Avarice was 24th and 31st of January 2017. Shell Shock was 20th and 30th of April 2018, and then peak season was 27th of August 2020.
Because that's the thing. Because remember when we were listening to Series 3 of the Fourth Doctor, we noticed that Tom sounded a lot different then to what we get Tom now. Like, not in a bad way at all. There's just a complete difference in voice.
Yeah, I think he has mellowed much more now. I think you are getting that same voice because I don't think it's his actual voice changing. I think it's more just the way he performed it at first was a bit different.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to sound younger, I feel, but now he's just accepted it and actually sounds more natural, just sounding older.
Yeah.
That's the 9, really. Stage says, after so many months of late covers and story details, it's weird to have such a long wait until June for Fourth Doctor Adventures and 90s Unit. Yeah, we'll get to 90s Unit in a sec, but we were talking about this before, weren't we? How, just before we went live, how we're used to getting it 2 months in advance or like just at the end of the month before, really, ready for the Vortex article. But now we're getting some reveals for June as well, which is nice.
It was a bit of a shock when I saw like the Unit cover drop. I was like, oh wow, this seems a bit far away compared to like the normal sort of news drop.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, it's not too far really. Like, this is what we used to have. Like this time last year, we had Dalek Universe 3 cover already, didn't we?
Yeah, it's true. But I think you just got so used to that sort of month by month with it now.
I think this is the right distance ahead, though. It's like far enough away that it's not overshadowing the current stuff, if that makes sense. But also, it's not too far away that you think, oh, what's the point of revealing this now? It's not even out for another year. I think this, 3 months is probably the happy medium for it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But I'm sure there's probably going to be a couple of other box sets for May and June that we've yet to hear about, given what we've had in March with the 8th of March and Torchwood 1 in April. So we'll see what surprises Big Finish have on the horizon. But yeah, you weren't a fan of this cover, were you?
Yeah. I don't know what it is with it, to be honest. I can't put my finger on it. I just expected something a little bit different from it. You know, when you've got an image in your head of what you think the box will look like, and then you get it, you're like, oh, that doesn't quite match to what I thought it would be.
I feel like this more or less matches up to what I expected, really.
You've got the same sort of unit logo as the Kate Stewart stuff, which I guess keeps it on brand.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like got more of a silver to it, hasn't it? I think it feels 90s enough, this cover. That's what I like, that we're sticking with the Battlefield uniform. I do feel like the scientific advisor there, it does just feel like she's a picture grabbed from the recording studio. Yeah. And just stuck in there. It doesn't feel like she's actually wearing any 90s clothes or anything. But yeah, they do sort of stand out. She does sort of stand out next to Bambera as well. Since Angela Bruce, this is a picture from her of her in the 80s.
Yeah.
I think you thought the other character, he sort of stands out a bit more. I don't think he looks too bad. I think the way the cover's done hides that. But yeah, less so with scientific advisor there.
It sort of almost looks like Bambera's out of focus in a way.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know.
Yeah, you do still get a bit of that. I like the lens flare, I guess, that's going on around them.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a little story detail, like a little creature, parasite thing.
I think it's more just a bit of fun for the cover, really.
I think you're probably right.
And then, like, the light behind him. I think that works for Bambera being slightly out of focus with the light behind. You can sort of imagine that distorting the picture a bit if it was. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this set. It seems she's lost Ancelon.
Do you know, I wouldn't mind a box of like Ancelon and Bambera.
Can't he just be like a stay-at-home husband?
Yeah. Or can we have the audio where the Brig, the Doctor, and Ancelon are like trying to cook a meal for Doris and everyone, like Ace and Bambera? That'd be cool.
Yeah, could that be a short trip maybe?
On it, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, read by John Coleshaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we do get the Brig in the next cell sign. I think that'd be nice.
I feel like the Brig's a given a hill.
Yeah. One thing that is weird to me is that this is definitely meant to be set after Battlefield because they mention how she's lost Ancelon. But also they're talking about her getting called back to the UK to head up unit. Which, like, isn't she already the new head of unit anyway?
So it's like, how much time has passed since Battlefield and Seabird 1?
Yeah. I quite like that as a title. Seabird 1.
Forget Greyhound 1. We've got Seabird 1.
I mean, do any of the stories stand out to you?
It's made me intrigued to go back to Animal just to get a taste of Bambera back on audio. But I have to say, the first two interest me. Dark Side of the Moon, not so much.
That's fair. I mean, apparently the middle one's meant to be a Green Death-esque story.
Well, that's probably going to be the one I'm looking forward to then.
For me, it's the last two I'm looking forward to, and the first one I feel less excited about.
Okay.
Yeah,
for me,
it just feels like the standard starting off story.
I feel like this box that just gives me that early Big Finish spin-off feel to me. Like it sort of has a bit of a Sarah Jane Smith feel to it when I read the synopsis. Like, oh, that feels very early Big Finish.
Yeah. That's what it does feel 90s at least. And it's nice to have like a classic unit feel rather than the full-on new series feel.
It'll be interesting to see if we get like a nice little updated theme. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not the regular unit theme. mean, maybe even a completely different theme.
I hope so. Because I was surprised 8th of March had its own theme. So,
Yeah, or at least a 90s-ified version of the new theme. If
that
we
would be
have to
nice.
stick, just to keep with the continuity, but also have its own style to it, its own identity.
No, I'm definitely more sold on the box set now.
No, that's good.
I definitely do want to pick it up.
Were you sort of on the fence before then?
Yeah, it felt like one of those ones of, do I need it? Because there's so much coming out that you've got to sort of give and take certain things.
Kill your darlings sometimes.
Yeah. So for me, I feel like I'm gonna get it. Obviously.
I'm more interested in this than I am in the ongoing Unit Nemesis stuff, to be honest.
Maybe because it's all fresh and it's, a character we haven't had much of, to be honest.
Yeah. So I still need to listen to the last part of Unit Nemesis 1, but I don't. I sort of feel like maybe I could have skipped out on it.
See, Tom just sucked us in.
Yeah. And I mean, we get a bit of a Bambera preview in Nemesis 2. We haven't got around to that one yet, but
no, I've not got around to it either.
No, I'm looking forward to Dominator as well in that. So we'll see. It's mainly the 11 who's carrying the first set.
Very much so.
Starchwood says 90s units are past me personally. I'm not a big unit or countermeasures fan, and it doesn't really appeal to me. Fair enough. Anselin returning as a cliffhanger, perhaps.
Honestly,
maybe
that'd be fun. I mean, I'd like them to explore Merlin, the Merlin side of McCoy's Doctor. Maybe that could be like an Unbound.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I suppose it's just that Sylvester McCoy isn't available enough for most stuff, is he?
Well, you think with all like restrictions lifting, surely McCoy would be out and about.
Yeah, that's true. But even then, he never did too much. But yeah, that'd be a nice Unbound, like full-on retelling of the Arthurian legend, but with Doctor Who character.
Yeah, I'll be down for that.
I mean, maybe even G Marsh back.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah. That'd be something special if they did.
Yeah, I think health complications maybe are getting in the way there from what we've heard. Nothing confirmed, but yeah. I mean, she hasn't done one since Sontarans, I don't think, has she?
No, she hasn't.
That was 2017.
That's nearly 5 years.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Have we got one last news story?
One bit of news left.
Yeah.
A Big Finish
masterpiece. Yeah, he's back again. I mean, we knew one of these was coming soon. Yeah. What's it? The Nemesis Express? Was it called? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. The title of the first episode, followed by Capture the Chronovore and Passion. All right. Are you going to be picking this one up?
I like the first set. I don't know if I like it enough to pick another box set. No. I probably will. But
see, this is my favorite type of announcement because I don't feel obliged to pick it up.
Yeah, because you've missed it.
Yeah, I missed the first one, and it looks all right, but I'm not invested enough yet, and so I can save myself the money and avoid going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I'll wait closer to the time. Like I like the whole world, but I'm like, where else can you go with it? Because I felt like Master as a box set felt like a nice little. Here's your one box of Eric Roberts. To be honest, yeah, the way it was wrapped up, it feels like we're gonna have a rehash of. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, the fact that it was just called Master as well. It didn't have a subtitle or anything like this. The one now does. It feels like that was made to be a one and done thing, and now they're sort of adding another one to it, bringing Vienna back again. Surprisingly,
yeah. So Yeah, I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest. Like, obviously, it's done very well, and it's obviously made it get another box set, which all power to it.
I think it was quite a top seller, wasn't it, last year?
I mean, yeah, it was good. It was one of the surprising releases of the year for me.
Yeah. Eric Roberts seems to be having such a good time with it. I don't want to take that away from him.
No, like he's actually. I think he's found his master.
Yeah,
within it. You know, I think Masterful. I think when you get, I think that's the thing. When I listened to Masterful, I was like, I kind of want to get his box set now because I just thought that was probably his best, and then you get him in Master, and he's great in it.
Yeah. I suppose we're going to have the new look on the cover again.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, should be an interesting one. Not too much going on about it at the minute, but yeah. That's is it October that?
Yeah, which works for Halloween. He's the master who most suits Halloween. Maybe Beavers a little bit more, but Halloween itself is more of an American thing, so
yeah,
we'll let him have Halloween.
Yeah, that is the news, I guess.
Yeah. There we have it.
Yeah.
Starts one says, I was shocked to find out Eric Roberts was in The Dark Knight. I never realized he was in that. Yeah, I think he's Salvatore Moroni is the character. So one of the mob bosses in it. Oh, Sarge also says, I cannot express how excited I am for Master 2. I love Snowpiercer, the show. This sounds exactly like that train that gets better but deadlier the further you get up it, isolated from outside. The box set sounds right up my street. I don't usually buy recent releases, but this, along with Beyond the War games, I might pick up. I can't wait. The Master is Wilford in control of the train. Yeah, I haven't checked out Snowpiercer, but yeah, I do know about the show and the concept there.
I have no idea what that is.
I
have no idea. I've never heard of it. I'll be honest. I
believe it was based off a graphic novel, but I'm not 100%.
No idea.
It's all that. It's a train during the apocalypse, and so like it's the upper class people on board of it, and then you've also got the lower class people below decks and stuff. They're not really allowed to mix. I believe it starts off with like a murder, and the only detective, a murder in like the upper class departments, and then there's a detective who's lower class, and so he has to be brought in, and then it all kicks off from there. I hope I've got the right show. If not, I've made myself look very stupid. But yeah, please do confirm or deny whether I've got that right. Stylish one. Snowpiercer, the show was based off a film with John Hurt and Chris Evans in it.
Okay.
Stylish one also asks, which audio do you feel each master gives their best performance? I mean, we've already said Eric Roberts in Masterful. John Sim also in Masterful by default. Yeah. Same with Milo Parker.
Yeah, there we go.
So that's 3 already done. Jacoby, he's always on top 4. I don't think there's ever a time where he's not at his best.
Alex McQueen, I'd say probably like Dark Eyes 3 around that, except he's the main villain, maybe like Master Plan.
Yeah,
that's it. That's a
good. That's like very much the Doctor and the Master story, isn't it?
That's a good one. I think Jeffrey Beavers. I know Beavers is good as well.
Yeah, maybe what's a Planet of Dust?
I was thinking
Ravenous 4.
That's a good one. I was thinking Master.
Yeah, that's very much.
That's a good one.
Standout one. Which other ones have we got? Michelle Gomez. I don't feel like I've listened to enough of hers to say.
I mean, I'd probably have to go Bechdel test by default. Yeah. So that. Any others?
Mark Gatiss. He was great and masterful, to be fair.
Yeah, he was wonderful. I'd probably say Rulers of the Universe.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't listened to enough of his other ones. So
I mean, he was good in Sympathy for the Devil.
But I'm not a big fan of Sympathy of the Devil.
What's he's good in Anti-Genesis as well. He's good in Anti-Genesis. He's good in that one.
Yeah. That's it, Luke. The basic plot, at least initially. Thank you.
You got it right.
It's good to know
you got the right one.
Not taking up my ass there. Yeah. Stylish One says, have you heard any of the Master short trips, the Toy to Switching, I'm the Master? Yeah, I heard all 3 of those ones. I think there's a couple of other ones as well, isn't there? Where he's like revealed as the twist villain.
I've heard 2 of them.
It's been a while since I've heard the Toy though. The Switching, great fun. Just classic Pertwee era joy, really. And I'm the Master was less of a fan of, but wasn't too bad. I was expecting something a bit more creepy with that. I got.
I've not give that one a go, actually, that one.
Right, yeah, you got it with Masterful, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Favorite joke or jokes from Masterful? I think Kill Quad.
Oh yeah, that was a funny little.
That's probably my favorite one. But yeah, so that's probably my favorite from Masterful.
Such from us, will you be getting Beyond the War games physically, Luke? I was planning on it, and then they revealed the First Doctor cover, the Outlaws, because I was going to go for the there's a bundle with both of them in it, but now I'm less sure as well, especially without knowing the cover. So like, I'm thinking I'm skipping Outlaws physical, and I probably will end up skipping Beyond the War games physical as well. Sadly,
All depends on the cover.
Yeah. Perfect. We'll have to wait and see on that. Hopefully, we get a cover reveal probably within the next month. So, Stylish One also asks, how's Lone Centurion 2, Luke? I've still not picked that one up, and
okay.
I'm probably not going to get it, to be honest.
That boat sailed.
So much stuff come out. I think I'm skipping 8th of March 2 as well now.
Yeah, it's not that great.
From what I've heard about it, from what you've said about it, it's not really worth the hassle. So if I can save some money, I will. So much Big Finish coming out next month that interests me much more. I'd rather save some pennies for that.
Yeah. Will you go back and get any of the older Tortured audios, as in from last year or older?
Maybe at some point. I don't know. There's certainly some that have interested me for a while, but
Great Sontaran was one that interests me.
Yeah.
But then there's the Ace One Red List. And if the rumours are true that Sophie Aldred's coming back, that's a good one to put on sale. So I might wait and see for that one
I would
before I dive in.
Red List if it does go on sale. Gooseberry was one that tempts me, and Coffee as well. Greg Link's sung the praises of that one, so maybe that's worth a look at.
Worth investigating.
Yeah, I mean, we went back and got The Crown a year afterwards,
we did.
So it's not out of the realms of possibility that we'll go back to some other older Torchwoods. Maybe Fortitude to complete the
maybe
Queen Victoria stuff.
Yeah, we should.
Did you get Save Our Souls at all? Just haven't.
I have. I've got it. Not listened to it yet.
Yeah, that's definitely worth sticking on. Oh, so speaking of favourite joke from Masterful, one came back to me that was the "Don't Tell Him" Pike reference to Dad's Army between Jacoby and John Sim. That was a wonderful little moment. Yeah, and I think just John Sim and Derek Jacoby together anyway, they were a great combo. As I think time to wrap up now.
Yeah, it is. Thank you everyone for joining us on our Sontaran tier list. Hopefully we haven't offended you with our Sontaran takes. I think we're pretty much level there. I think we're all on the same page with those opinions.
It was a much shorter list.
But still managed to get a big stream out of it all, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll hopefully see you next week for, I have no idea what we've got planned. It all depends on what Big Finish release, whether it is Mind of the Hodiak. Probably will be, because it's for last week of March.
Yeah. I mean, you may have seen that there was a poll out as well.
Yes, yeah.
Out on both YouTube and Twitter.
Which made life a bit difficult.
Yeah. I mean, we did like the first poll on Twitter, didn't you? And then Forsaken and Record World ended up drawing there. But yeah, so we will be going back to some early adventure action to have a bit of a close look at two stories, because we did do a whole tier list of them, but now we're going for more of a throwback review. We're going to re-listen to them beforehand, have a sit down and a nice chat on the lead up to both First Doctor Adventures The Outlaws and Second Doctor Companion Chronicles next month. You know, get a taste for each, what their past has been like before we begin to look towards their future next month. So
yeah, I think it's good to do a little throwback as well.
It's always nice
to
checking these out. We spent our money on all these audios.
Yeah,
we might as well get our money's worth and listen to them more than once.
Yeah, because that's the thing with Big Finish, because there's so much going out, you don't really have the chance to. I mean, this is proper first world problems, but yeah, you don't really have a chance to revisit. Like, you always think, I should go back and listen to that one again. I think that doing these is a good excuse, and if you've got them, it gives you an excuse to listen along and revisit them to see whether we match your opinions.
Yeah. When it's older ones as well, we could get away with talking about a bit more spoilers because they've been out a while. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're going for Revelli Conspiracy for the first Doctor. We can't confirm. We thought we'll have our own choice for one of them, but then we'll leave it up to the audience for the other. So,
and maybe we can do like a little regular thing where we do like a poll each month where they can decide what throwback story you'd like us to do. Yeah, might as well make the most of the CDs, like you say, and the stories we have. Well, we've got like a spare free week of no like recent releases, and we can do that. Yeah, nice little throwback.
Yeah, so that's all stuff to look forward to, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all in the future.
Yeah, we'll see what comes of next week.
Yeah, so thank you all for joining us, and we shall see you next time, definitely for season 10 of our Pertwee ranking.
Yeah, guaranteed a Tuesday release.
Guaranteed. So that'll be all upcoming for another 2 weeks, and then that's all done, and then maybe we'll have to think about doing another Doctor.
Yeah, you said 7th Doctor, so that'll be a
nice little quick one to do.
I mean, by the time season 22's out, that's the majority of the 6th Doctor's era in that one set.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll just be one story missing, won't we, really?
Yeah.
I feel more inclined to do McCoy's era than Collins, but
yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, thank you everyone for joining us, and we shall see you next time. So stay safe and goodbye.
Take care, everyone.